Welcome to the exciting world of the movies.
Hello and welcome to the movie graveyard. Again, we have such a beautiful episode to show you. We don't know if our hearts can take it. Ain't that right, Zach?
Fucking, we don't even know. We don't even know. There's gonna be so much cum everywhere.
It's gonna flow.
Before we started, my boy, the goat, he's like, I gotta go get a tissue. And I knew it. I was like, dude, there's gonna be so much came. There's gonna be so much.
It's gonna be so arousing that you might even came some rose petals.
Exactly. Fucking, oh man. I'm so excited. Fucking, what was it I called it? Came on Facey?
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey? I'm Came on Facey for this episode. If you could see my fake name that I use for all the episodes.
If we did this on YouTube, like you do, I don't even know how you have time to do all these episodes and then play video games on YouTube and all this shit. It's like I barely have time just to do an audio podcast. But I will give you credit though, like I really don't like the like talking on camera thing. Like, of just like, I mean, it's different if like you're making like an actual like video and you're shooting takes and you're doing dialogue and shit. But the whole thing of just people just sitting there talking and they're like, that gets more views. People want to see you. I was like, there's so many videos of fucking dudes just sitting there like fucking like with their lame ass Skype set up with the fucking camera on them. I appreciate what you do, Zach, because you actually move your hands and arms around. Like that's like the bare minimum that everybody should be doing, but nobody does it but you.
Exactly. Fucking moving your hand, trying to get attention, baby.
Yeah.
You want to catch their eye. You don't just want to see talking heads sitting there. Imagine if we were watching Fox News and like fucking Tucker Carlson when he does his fucking maniacal like he's just fucking swinging his arms around all the time. It'd be even more entertaining.
I feel like Tucker Carlson, he's like one of those dudes, even though he's like a middle-aged man, like he raids like thrift shops to find like all the old ventriloquist dummies to steal the bow ties off their necks.
Exactly.
I feel like that's where he gets his bow ties from. Like they're always like fucked up. Like they look like some shit Junior would be wearing at Problem Child.
Yeah, that's the thing. He saw Problem Child and he saw Junior get a bow tie off of a toy and he's like, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
All right, we're going to get it rolling. We have it paused at the beginning of the movie. It has that old classic DreamWorks logo where you got to watch some kid fish an olive out of the clouds and do all this shit.
That's like an hour long. It's almost as long as the movie itself.
It's so fucking long, dude. But we paused it on the moment where the logo actually comes up where it says DreamWorks SKG and then it says TM, like the fucking phrase SKG. Which, let's see if we can remember what the SKG, because this was such a big deal in the 90s, Zach. I remember when this film company started, it was going to be the big thing that was going to change Hollywood forever, and then it just really fizzled out and just started making Shrek fart comedy fucking cartoons. But it's DreamWorks, Spielberg, Katzenberg, and Geffen. And I think Geffen was the first one just to jump the fuck off. And now DreamWorks is actually two companies. There's like DreamWorks that makes like live action movies, which really doesn't even exist anymore. And there's DreamWorks Animation, which is always trying to come back and find a way to make some either How to Train Your Dragons or reinvent that limp dick Shrek shit that should have died a long time ago.
Fucking, we literally need to see Shrek's cock at this point if you're going to do it.
If you're going to get us back into the theater, which, by the way, I've never been in the theater for any Shrek film or spinoff or anything.
I saw the first Shrek in theaters like 3 or 4 times.
Really? Like, what was the circumstance? Like, who did you, like, keep going back to see the movie with?
Just different friends.
Yeah. Interesting.
I liked the first Shrek.
I remember the first time I watched it was I was babysitting some cousins and they had the DVD and like I mean it's not terrible. Like I've definitely seen worse, but it's kind of funny when you look at clips from the first Shrek now and you realize how bad the animation was. But like we didn't know any better at the time. So like, we didn't even notice how shitty it was. Like now it looks like those weird recreations they have on Korean news channels and shit. You ever see those? It's always like some like stick figure CGI guy with like a fly flying in his mouth or some shit.
Does it really look that bad? I haven't seen it in a long time.
It looks so fucking... You know the other one that looks atrocious too is the first Ice Age movie. Oh my god, like the people are so almost like PS2 kind of blocky looking, and just the whole movie is like I don't think computers could render HD quality, level video, and it's just like they made like a film print out of some fucking standard definition fucking computer generation. It's so blurry looking.
Fucking cowards.
They need to up-res that shit. But yeah, so we have it on the Blu-ray. It's 21-second mark. It says DreamWorks SKG. I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, go. And when you hear the word go, please hit play on your remotes. You ready?
I am, baby.
All right, 1, 2, 3, go.
There's a part of me that wants to press play the first time when you're saying the demonstration version. I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, go, and there's a part of me that's just like I should have pressed.
You
play
want to
right
go
there.
right away.
Exactly.
You know.
You're basically like the God of War video game where it's like there's that main menu and then you press new game and it just immediately starts. It's just the gods of Olympus have abandoned me and it zooms out and the game just starts. It's like there's no loading screen or anything. It gets you right in there.
You better have that controller ready in your hand.
Exactly. That was like a big innovation in gaming when that came out. It was like fucking it just started playing as soon as I pressed play. That's fucking amazing.
So this movie starts out with a conceit that a lot of movies have always like really done a lot in the last 20, 25 years is in your big budget movie intercut some homemade fucking video camera shit. And I gotta say, I always hate that, Zach, and especially on the big screen when you see it in a theater, like it always looks terrible. I gotta say the mini DV, because I had mini DV camera, the mini DV clips in this movie do not actually look bad. Like they look low res, but they don't like hurt your eyes and shit, you know?
Yeah, I never thought about it, but yeah, do they actually use an actual camera to shoot those, or do they just use film and then make it look different? Like, so I guess it depends on the movie.
Yeah, I mean, now when they do it, like new movies, like within the last 5 years or so, like I can tell when it's fake. But this one, because I've shot actually hundreds of hours of mini DV, like I can tell even like the little, like the way the corners of shit looks. Like, yeah, this one actually is the true mini DV.
We are now seeing the introduction of Kevin Spacey. He's just playing Kevin Spacey in this movie. As we know now, he is a real life weirdo.
Yeah, he's got the first shot of him really is a hot water spraying him in the face in the shower, and he's masturbating furiously.
He said, "This is the highlight of my day," and that's sad because
it is.
Fucking being middle aged is probably going to be pretty fucking depressing. It's one of those things.
It really is. You know what kind of like bummed me the fuck out? I'll be honest about this. Is when he starts out the opening monologue and he's like, "My name is Lester. I'm 42 years old and I'm middle aged." I'm like, "Oh my god!" I'm older than the character in this movie now. Like,
are you really?
Yes.
I didn't even,
well,
I
first of all,
that you're older than me.
Yeah. First of all, there's no fucking way. I mean, let's be honest. Kevin Spacey does not look 42 in this movie. And granted, I'm sure a 2023 42-year-old probably looks a lot different than a 1999 42-year-old. But at the same time, dude had to be closer to 50, if not in his 50s already when he made this movie. Like,
Scott Bakula. How much money would you pay to get fucked by Scott Bakula?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I know the answer to the question, how much money would you get paid to sell video games to Scott Bakula? Because I've actually done that before.
You did?
I did, and it was shocking. He came with his kids, and he had long, like scraggly, like surfer hair. I don't know what fucking movie or whatever he was shooting, but he looked like a bum. But it was clearly him.
That's Chad. That's fucking Chad.
Yeah.
His fucking what's his name in the movie? Lester.
Yeah,
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, I can't remember his last name, but yeah, Lester.
His wife is Big Stacy.
Annette Bening, yeah.
Big fucking Stacy.
She got like that Power Stacy move too with the business suits.
Exactly. She cheats on him in the movie. It's like I don't even fucking care. She could cheat on me all she wanted. I would hit that Stacy every night.
Yeah, you wouldn't even feel bad about it. Which we gotta also too, Thora Birch, the great Thora Birch playing the teenage daughter here. They start out with the movie with her looking at a website. She's looking at breast augmentation. She wants implants. But that's almost like an M. Night Shyamalan twist, because later in the movie, she takes her shirt off and she's got giant milkies.
She does.
Giant milkies.
I was watching this. I was like, fucking, why does she want it? Maybe we got it off, like, we don't realize it, but she wants a reduction. Maybe that's what it is. She thinks her titties are too huge.
No, she wanted augmentation because she was looking at pictures of girls with smaller. I mean, I wouldn't say they had like itty bitty boobs, but like, yeah, like B cups. And like, I was like, well, okay, like you got D cups. So how bigger do you want to go?
Fucking incredible breasticles.
Yeah.
Look, it says look closer on that paper there.
It does. I'm sure
what
that
are they
was
trying to tell us?
Sure, that was more metaphorical. our boy Sam Mendes, before he created the best Batman film of all time, 007 Skyfall, he was making quality films, or some people would say, not Oscar bait, like American Beauty. He should be doing real movies like Skyfall with Javier Bardem playing a Joker. Oh.
Fucking cringe.
Yeah.
He should be doing American Beauty too.
He should be doing American Beauty 3 or 4 by this point in time. In all
Exactly.
honesty.
Lester Holt's Revenge. He's fucking back from the dead.
I was going to say they should totally do a sequel like now after all this shit came out about Kevin Spacey.
Why'd I call him Lester Holt? Who's Lester Holt?
Oh, Lester Holt is that old black journalist guy.
That's right. I couldn't remember the Lester in the movie's last name.
Yeah.
So I defaulted to a Lester I know.
Holt, yeah. Which I got a Kevin Spacey story. I had a friend who he worked at a restaurant. Well, I actually didn't really even work directly at the restaurant. He worked at like a grocery store next to the restaurant, and he would always hang out in the restaurant. It was like an Italian restaurant, and he kind of wormed his way in. He was trying to become a DJ, so he wormed his way into doing a DJ gig there, like a couple times a month actually. And our boy Kevin Spacey used to come into the restaurant, and he was always with other men, and he always had a hat and sunglasses on in the restaurant. And whenever anybody would be like taking a photo in the restaurant, like this is back in the era of like flip phones and shit, like Motorola Razors and shit. Like whenever he would see a flash or something, Kevin Spacey would duck down into the booth, like noticeably he would duck all the way down into the booth, and I've always found that such a fucking bizarre story.
You know what he was doing? He was ducking down and blowing the guys he was with.
He probably was.
He was so used to, like, fucking, it's just ingrained in his brain that, like, when he sees the flash of a camera, he gets a nut in his face or something. It came from, like, years of sex trafficking. What was he was accused? I don't want to make any accusations. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, like
there's so many that happened in a span of like 1 year that is, I forgot exactly.
Well, there was a bunch that were just like he was basically sexually harassing like the crew members of different movies and shit. Like he was kind of like grabbing asses and doing shit. But then there was specifically like one guy said that when Kevin Spacey was like I think 26 years old and this guy was 14 years old, they were doing a
Oh yeah.
They were doing like a play, and afterwards, like everybody kind of had a party at Kevin Spacey's apartment, and that Kevin Spacey came onto the guy, and like I forget what the story is, but basically he like laid him on a bed and he told him to just let it happen. But like suppose the guy claims that nothing actually did happen, that he like got up and left and whatever. And
that could mean literally anything. He could have meant just shit on my bed or something like that.
I mean, yeah, like I'm not going to defend Kevin Spacey. Like everybody pretty much came out and was like, "Yeah, it's true." It's but like one thing I will say, and this isn't a defense of Kevin Spacey. This is just acknowledgement of his fucking talent. Is there were so many movies back then that like I watched and loved and still love, like Glengarry Glen Ross and shit, and this movie, like I mean, I get it. Like there's really no like even if Kevin Spacey didn't have all that shit come out about him, there'd really be no demand for whatever he is, a 65-year-old man of his, whatever age and physical type and shit. Like he really wouldn't be working in movies anymore anyway. But like, yeah, like it's kind of like, I'm not going to forget all these great movies he was in just because he's an asshole in real life,
So many great actors are probably assholes in real life.
Oh,
so many people we know and like are probably assholes in real life. We just don't know about it.
I mean, how many times, like, just in, like, regular life that, like, you and me leave, how many times have you, like, worked at a job and, like, you hate fucking 99% of the people that work there? You know what I mean? Like...
Exactly. One thing I know for sure is if that little shit kid could have just, like, waited, like, a couple more years to come out with a story, we would have actually saw how House of Cards was supposed to end.
Right.
I never watched House of Cards. I had to steal that joke.
Oh, yeah.
I forget where I heard that.
Well, what I think is funny is, like, as soon as, like, the shit came out that happened, like, 35 years ago, all of a sudden all these people in House of Cards is like, yes, he's been doing this the whole time that we've been making this show. And I'm just kind of like, why did you guys wait to speak up?
Shouldn't they all be Me Too'd also if they were being quiet about it?
Yeah, it's just kind of like, it's like, yeah, we covered up, we took it. Like, he wouldn't go into details of what happened, but, what's that? You know that one actor, John Bernthal? You know who that guy is? He was on Walking Dead, and he played the Punisher on those Netflix shows.
Okay.
He was in that movie Baby Driver, and like he wouldn't say specifics, but he said like he grew up idolizing Kevin Spacey, and then when he worked with him on that movie, he just immediately hated the fucking guy. Like just being around him, he said it physically made him sick to be in the same room with him, just the way he was treating everybody and shitty. And I'm just kind of like, I guess somebody starts doing that shit when like they're in their 20s or 30s or however old Kevin Spacey was when he first kind of got, you know, fame and clout and all that kind of shit. But like, it's kind of like, this was allowed to go on for, I mean, not the molestation and shit, but, well, actually, maybe, like, the sexual harassment. It was going on in plain view for years. So it's like, who's to blame? Is it Kevin Spacey for being a creep? Or is it for the people who just allowed to go on for fucking 30 years? You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's weird, yeah. It's like whenever like, the stuff about Harvey Weinstein was coming out, and everybody was like, oh, it's finally over, and, like, they're all fucking, like, they're kind of like, yeah, fuck you, man. It's like, why'd you let it go on this long?
Well, the thing with like the Harvey Weinstein thing, and like, I mean, obviously, I don't pretend to know all the facts of it and shit, but I actually went to the theater and saw that movie, whatever it's called, She Said or whatever. And like when the journalist ladies were trying to like interview all the past ladies, like Harvey Weinstein like worked for years and years with lawyers and shit to pay them, to make them sign papers, to threaten the like he was actively like for years like keeping them all quiet and harassing them and shit. Whereas Kevin Spacey was just like, we just all stayed quiet because we wanted to. Now we got to talk about our boy right here. Harold from Kumar comes in to want to buy this house from Annette Bening, him and his girlfriend. Don't you think it would be better if we just CGI'd his girlfriend out and put Kumar into it?
Fucking it would be.
You could re-release American Beauty into theaters with the Harold and Kumar edition.
Harold and Comer.
Harold and Kumar.
I like to call him Comer.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know the person. But no, but what I was saying was like, yeah, Kevin Spacey, like, it sounds like people, he just pretty much did all the shit he did, and people were just like, let's just keep this quiet for no reason. Like, he's not threatening to sue us, he's not paying us to go away. Like, so I'm kind of like, I don't know.
That's a weird thing to find out that, like, fucking people in movies you love. Yeah. And then, like, even movies you like fucking you really love, it's like bad things happened on them specifically, not even just like fucking people knew people. It's like fucking it's like fucking it's a good thing that we're cleaning up the house. Hopefully it doesn't get that bad again. Hopefully it just stops being bad. And it's weird. It's one of those things where it's like fucking everybody gets mad about fucking what is it whenever like somebody's kid is in a high position. Fucking
the nepotism shit. Yeah,
nepotism. It's one of those things. Nepotism happens in every single fucking career, and it's like we're never gonna get rid of it. It's like,
I mean, every job I've ever worked at, it's like some fucking Chad comes into work, and everybody goes, "Oh, look at this fucking Chad," and they all treat them differently, and it's like that's not even nepotism. That's just Chadism. So it's like, you're never going to have a true equal playing field. I know people talk a lot about we don't need equality, we need equity, we need to, you know, kind of find the disadvantaged people and help them out and help them speak out against bad things going on. That's never going to fucking happen in real life. Like, never. That's just not the way people work. People love to, like, dude, I've seen it so many times. Like, even the job I work at now, there was this weird phase where, like, anybody who came into the company that was, like, under 30, like specifically under like 25, like anybody who came in that was like 20 to 25 and like had all these weird ideas of we should do this, we should, like, they would just do it because they were so obsessed with new young voices. And I'm like, these people don't even know shit about the business we're in. Like, they don't even know fucking how to do this work, and we're letting them tell us how to run and everything. Like, thankfully that kind of ran its course where I work, but holy fuck, that shit was annoying for so long. I guess we should actually talk about this movie. And
we are now, well, basically we just talked over the setup. We're now meeting the fucking the character that the whole movie is kind of set around, because fucking our boy here, Kevin Spacey, came on Facey. He's gonna go to his daughter's fucking she's a cheerleader, and he's gonna see her friend, and he's gonna become infatuated with her. He's gonna like fucking he wants to do a sex with this teenage girl through the rest of the movie. That's the whole plot of the movie. They don't make movies like this anymore.
It's literally the whole plot of the movie, and the poster is literally referencing it, and somehow this film is never discussed as being about Platoism.
Exactly. people never talk about. Basically, fucking when people do talk about this, fucking it usually is just like fucking no, I can't watch that movie anymore because Kevin Spacey. It's like fucking if anything, that makes it like work more to me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, well, yeah, especially this one. Now, let's watch these cheerleaders do this routine, which I don't even think they're cheerleaders. I think they're referred to as the pep squad, which I don't know what the difference between the two is. But, yeah, like...
they couldn't call them cheerleaders because Bring It On was just coming out and they would have got sued, I think.
Oh, okay. And then they were both Universal movies, so Universal didn't want to damper the reputation. But, I mean, this is pretty good, I guess, for some high school girls and, like, you know, kind of shit. But holy shit, did you see in the credits who the choreographer for this shit was?
I didn't.
Fucking Paula Abdul. I couldn't believe it.
Fucking Paula Abdul. Fucking Jabbar.
And, like, for people who don't know, like, obviously Paula Abdul was a big pop singer, but before that, she was, like, the main choreographer for the Laker girls on the LA Lakers. So it's, like, the fact, I mean, she probably wasn't super busy by the late 90s rolled around. She was probably just busy getting divorced from Emilio Estevez at the time. But it still, that blew my mind that they brought her in and wasted her time when you could have had any high school level choreographer.
This is the fucking main chick from what was that movie called? The sequel to The Shining, Dr. Sleep. She had that hat on.
Rebecca Ferguson in a young role. What was her name in Dr. Sleep? It was like Mr. something, even though she was like a woman. She had like a weird name.
Mr. Kane.
Mr. So yeah, so Kevin Spacey's just watching the high school cheerleaders dance, but like we get it, you know, it's stylized, like all the lights go out, it's in blackness in a spotlight. Like he sees Mina Savari, is the girl he has a crush on, and she undoes her like sweater, and then like
wait a minute, this is stylized. I thought she was literally. I thought the other cheerleaders literally ran off stage and she just started doing this. I was wondering why everybody else was like not reacting to this, and it was only him.
Well, yeah, when she exposes her breast, like you don't even see any nudity, just all these CGI rose petals fly out towards the camera. So like it's almost like she has the X-Men-esque like superpower that her tits like make rose petals fly everywhere.
The fucking idiot who made this movie ripped off Maroon 5's music video years before they did it.
Did he? Oh my god.
Yeah, they'd had some music video where there was like nudity, and then parents must have got pissed off because all of a sudden there was a second version where a bunch of rose petals were flying around the nudity.
Amazing.
Fucking innovation.
That's how Robin Thicke should have fixed his music video where he, who was it, Emily Ratajkowski got mad because he was just grabbing tit and ass the whole time they were shooting it. He didn't like, and then everybody was like, oh, this video for blurred lines is very rapey. Well, if he just would have put CGI rose petals in front of it, nobody would have like known how lecherous he was.
True. Oh, before I watched this again, I forgot that she knew that he liked her, and so did the daughter. Like I thought like the whole movie goes by and they don't even know, but watching it again, like she knows the whole time. And I forgot about that. Because
in real life, when dads get introduced to their daughter's friends, they go, oh, hey, you know, whatever her name is. Oh, hey, Angela, okay, get in the car, whatever, get in the minivan. This motherfucker's like, he's like leering. He's got the look of love. His palms are sweaty. He's about to throw up his mom's spaghetti.
Exactly.
Like, he's just looking deep into her eyes and telling her, oh, it's so nice to meet you. And, like, yeah, she immediately says, I can tell your dad hasn't had sex in a long time.
Exactly. Fucking, even the daughter was like, that was so pathetic. Yeah. And fucking, that's, like, you just found out your dad wants to have sex with a kid that's underage. And it's just like, oh, man, that's pathetic. Fucking, I guess she doesn't know he wants to have sex with her yet. Maybe he's just like, oh, God, she's so pretty. But, like, that's still fucking weird.
Well, he starts hallucinating. Like now, he's hallucinating that this is where the movie poster comes from. That that she's up on the ceiling, raining rose petals out of her vagina onto him.
Exactly. See, obviously, he doesn't really fucking. What is the significance of the rose petals? What does it represent? Just the young, fucking, like he sees her as like fucking untampered with.
Yeah.
the flower, whatever.
I guess, yeah, I guess it's like a deflowering type. But at the same time, like, not really. Which, by the way, like the daughter and Mina Suvari are smoking weed out in her car out on the street or whatever. Okay, they're in a convertible. Why do you have the top up, smoking weed when you're just trapping the weed smell inside your car and it's going to get on your clothes? Like, they could have totally just smoked this J with the top down and like nobody would have known, you know?
Well, they could have. They're not smart enough to think of that.
This is not a Power Stacy move.
Exactly. Maybe they are smart enough and they realize that that's what fucking everybody would expect. So now we're going to close it. So because now no one will guess that we're doing that.
Yeah. Which, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, Mina Suvari does, like, look young and stuff in this movie, but, like, it's kind of weird, well, you're not there yet, Zach, but maybe even at your age, like, when you see high school girls now, like, they look like middle schoolers or grade schoolers. Like, it's just weird. Like, and it's so weird because, like, I remember when I was in high school, like, I thought, like, all the girls were so hot and shit, and then it's just, like, I would say even when I was, like, in college, like, you realize, like, physically how smaller and childlike high school people, like, even when you're in college, like, when you just see seniors in a class with freshmen, like, you can tell, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We're getting introduced to the weirdo with Ricky. The camera. Oh, well, actually, we already got introduced to him, but this is the first time he says something, I think.
Yeah. Which, I thought this was a big Power Chad move, that he's recording her secretly in the dark, like on his porch or whatever, but then he turns on a light just so she can see he's standing there recording her, and she calls him a freak and flips him off, and he just keeps recording. Like, he doesn't even try to talk to her, like, you know, try to clean up, be like, oh, sorry, blah blah blah. Like,
yeah, obviously we know something weird is with this character because we've already seen, like, the opening where it's like, where she mentions, like, would you kill my dad for we have all these ideas running in our skull, like, where is this going? This kid, he's gonna be a crazy motherfucker and shit like that. It's subverting expectations.
Well, yeah, that little pussy Ryan Johnson could never pull off an American Beauty because, like, yeah, like, you see the opening video clip of him being like, you want me to kill your dad, and then, like, Lester, like, he does the narration. I guess we should mention that at the very beginning where he's, like, jerking off in the shower. He's like I'm about to die in a week or whatever it is, and he's like, oh, you know. So, like, they set up that, like, this whole time, you know, you're watching Kevin Spacey's downfall, and, like, they drop, like, red herrings the whole time about who's going to end up killing him and shit. And then
downfall. Like, this is like this is how he becomes king.
This is his ascent into Chatham. Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, like, the reason I said Ricky doing that and, you know, obviously getting busted, videotaping her was a Power Chad movie because she flips him off, but then she goes inside and, like, starts looking out the window, like, she likes it, like, she's like, oh, like, this guy's giving me attention.
Isn't that fucking weird? Like, why is human interaction so confusing like that? How come it becomes a thing where women feel like they have to, like, say no, otherwise it's like, oh, I'll come off as too easy. Yeah. Why can't, if you like somebody, it's just like, fuck, you like me, I like you, I dig you too.
Yeah.
Groovy.
I mean, at the very least, be like, let's go get coffee or something. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. Enough with the game playing. I have to say, I hated that shit when I was young. Like, thankfully, it kind of went away. I mean, it really went away, honestly, when I moved to California. Because, like, you move to California, and it's like, you can't get a date in fucking Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky. You go to fucking California, and girls are, like, asking you out. It's weird. I think that was the weirdest culture clash I ever had with moving to California. But yeah, like, I remember that shit of, like, having to ask girls out, like, when I was young, like, in my early 20s or college age. I remember asking girls out, like, 3 or 4 times before you even got, like, a real answer. Like, that's so fucking annoying.
It is, yeah.
It's like, yes or no. Like, my life is not going to end either way.
Exactly. So we're meeting this fucking idiot's dad now. The fucking,
our boy, Chris Cooper.
Exactly, this fucking idiot's dad here.
By the way, this was the Power Chad debut, I think, of Wes Bentley as Ricky. And I gotta say, like, ever since this movie, he's always been one of my favorite actors. Like, he's so fucking good.
His dad literally just looks like the guy from Falling Down.
I thought he was supposed to be like, you know who I thought they tried to make him look like physically was fucking Beetle Bailey. Remember that cartoon? the army guy, Beetle Beta, like even so, like you can see it here where the light is, Zach, but you can tell like the corners of Chris Cooper's hair, like they shaved it back with a razor to try to make his hair like look more like manly, you know, like recede it kind of, and it's just so fucking like they did that in Miami Blues to our boy Fred Ward, and it's always funny because it's like they shave their hair back, and then it's like halfway through the first day, it's growing back. Like you see the stubble on their forehead. Like that's always the lowest testosterone move I've ever fucking seen.
Exactly. Just get a balding actor.
Right. Which they would never do because Kevin Spacey is balding and at this time, and he wears a wig through the whole movie. And it's just ridiculous.
What is it with Hollywood? Like you would think if you watch these movies, like they cured baldness. Like, why do they hide that shit? How's come I'm seeing fucking what's his name? Fucking Linkovich Chomsky. We were just talking about him. Fucking Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
He's in The Whale. Mm-hmm. Fucking he's doing all these interviews with it, and they got the weird fucking flake, the dust hair they pour out of a can on his head. Why they do that?
I don't know.
I guess it's like, oh, well, you're going to be sitting in front of a camera. There's lights above you. It's going to be shining off your head. We don't want to put makeup on the top of your head. It'll look unnatural, and it'll sweat it off. We're just going to put a fake hairdo on there, and it'll all be, no one will notice.
Yeah, like, I never knew this back in the day, but, like, yeah, when you go back and look at Linkovich Shmosky's past films, like his other films, I think there was always something weird with his hair. Like, they were always sprinkling that shit in his hair. But, yeah, we skipped over the scene where Ricky gets a ride to school with his dad, and because the neighbors, Scott Bakula, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but these two gay guys named Jim lived in the neighborhood. Like, everybody likes them. They're really friendly. Like, they bring a fruit basket over, and, like, but it's kind of funny though that interchange where Cooper's like oh, like you said your partner, like what are you selling, like, you know, you guys are partners, what business are you in? They're like, no, like we're like life partners, and he's like instantly like repulsed, like, and then in the car, like he keeps going on about how nasty the gay couple is.
He's and like, oh, they can't fucking not shove it down your throat. Why is that the thing they always say? They're obsessed with the idea of gay people shoving things down their throats for some reason.
Yeah. Like, you would think he just, like, got out of the theater from watching a Disney movie from 2023 or something, the look on his face.
Exactly.
But, yeah, but, like, Wes Bentley, just to play along in the car, just to kind of fool his dad, he's just like, forgive me for speaking frankly, sir, but those fucking fags make me want to puke my guts out. And his dad's like, okay, yeah, damn right, son.
Yeah, you could tell, like, he had to say that.
Yeah, he had to, yeah.
To make his dad accept him or something.
Yeah.
Like, fucking, I don't want my dad to think I'm some quarter that's okay with gay people existing.
Well, this
that's like gay.
Like at this point, like the movie was like a little slow to set up, but like this part, we're getting great scene after great scene because like now Mina Savari was telling some girls that like she blew some guy who was a photographer, and like he had a big dick, and like she had to suck it in order to get these great pictures of her put in a magazine. And it's like it's really funny because it's like at this point you realize Mina Savari's character, she's just not just like, you know, the hot girl of the school. Like, she really wants to be like a Chad bimbo out in the world getting famous for just being a slut.
I think it's kind of laying on there, like fucking, like she, like people kind of, they become abused in their search for fame or popularity and whatever it is. They're like, she brought up like, oh, I was getting pictures taken by some photographer, and like, he just came on to her, and it's like, you gotta, like, fucking, I can't tell this famous photographer no, like, he'll fucking rip my pictures up. I'll never hear from the, you know, what I won't be able to do this shit again. So it's like, fucking, yeah, we hear all these stories about people being put, you know, in pressure, put in those situations, fucking pressured into doing that shit. And it's just like, fucking, yeah, like, the movie is kind of laying it out, and fucking all these characters are kind of fucking, you know, influenced in some way by the pressures.
And it's really weird too, and like that's like not like a popular thing to really talk about. But there are people that are like, not only are they comfortable with the whole casting couch kind of thing, but they prefer it, you know? And like, I'm sure Kevin Spacey was the kind of guy, like when he came into like a casting director's office or whatever, he probably just dropped his pants and like laid on the fucking couch, spread open, you know what I mean?
And said the same thing that he said to that kid. What did he say again?
Yeah.
Let it happen.
What happened?
Lay it on me. What do you say?
I don't know.
Something
He said
like
he's
shit
just
on
yeah, he just told him to like relax or let it happen or something.
Release all that brown fucking pudding all over my chest. He said something like that. 'Cause that's what I thought of whenever he said it.
He said, I just got back from Dunkin' Donuts and they're all out of fudge pudding. Can you give me some?
Exactly. She is very Stacy.
Yeah, let's talk about why you like Annette Bening so much.
Why not?
Have you ever seen the movie? Because for years she was with Warren Beatty. You ever see the movie Bugsy?
I haven't.
Came out probably 7 or 8 years before this one. Yeah.
Bugsy on my nutsy.
So let's talk about my boy, my hero, Peter Gallagher here. Again, beautiful man, beautiful. Even to this day, 20 years after this movie, he's in his upper 60s, yeah, early 70s maybe. Got a thick head of hair. This movie, he's wearing a gray man's hair wig.
Fucking, that's Chad. I recently started growing my hair out again. I was hoping I had more gray hair than I do. I'm kind of bummed by the results.
Yeah, I got my hair cut short last week after letting it be long for a long time. And when it was long, like I felt like I was seeing tons of grays, and I thought when I got it short that like half my hair would be gray, and it's like the opposite. For some reason, getting it short now, like the gray is like gone somehow. Mm-hmm. And but his young Stacy wife here, Peter Gallagher, played by the awesome Amber Smith, who like I didn't know about her. And I remember when I worked at a video store, a guy I went to high school with came in and was like, "You got any Amber Smith movies?" And I was like, "Who?" And he was like, "Oh yeah," and like yeah, like I looked her up, and like she's super hot. She was a model and an actress, and then maybe like
you know what it was. He was like, "Man, I want to see that chick's titties. I'm gonna go rent everything she's in."
Well, that was the thing. Yeah, she did. She was kind of like a Shannon Tweed type for like a little while in like the early 2000s when that the whole late night Skinamax thing was like yeah, she did a bunch of those kind of softcore, sexy thrillers or whatever. And then, like, probably, like, 5 or 6 years after this, like, when Dr. Drew started doing that Celebrity Rehab, I can't remember if it was Celebrity Rehab or Celebrity Sex Rehab, but she was on it. And I guess she, like, had a pill addiction, and her mom was addicted to pills, and she was taking care of her mom for, like, 20 years and all that shit. And, like, that chick, like, she totally talked about how she, like, whored herself out, and she was an escort and all this shit. Like, she talked about it on TV, and I was like... fucking blew my mind. It's like, you think of anything, she could have just found a rich guy to marry her, you know what I mean?
Fucking exactly. Fucking this world will chew you up and split you out, baby. It's no fun sometimes.
So since you're so hot for Annette Bening here, let's talk about the Power Chad moves that Peter Gallagher is putting on there. His name is, what's his name? Buddy King, the king of real estate or some shit?
That's a name. You just got to see that guy's dick. He's got to have a huge dick.
I love this guy. He was in a Steven Soderbergh movie that I love called The Underneath. It's my favorite Steven Soderbergh movie, and Steven Soderbergh comes out and badmouths it every chance he gets how big of a piece of shit it is. And it's like, I don't know. He's just a fucking amazing actor, Peter Gallagher. And it's weird because, like, he did a lot of, like, hunky roles in, like, his early days, I guess his 20s maybe. And then, like, yeah, like, he became, like, a big leading man in his 30s and 40s. And then, like, I don't know what happened. Eventually, he just got to the point he started doing these little side cast roles like this. And eventually, I think he was, like, the dad on the OC and shit. And it sucks, man. Like, just fucking, it's like, I won't say he's nobody now, but, they're not really using him to his full potential. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd much rather see him star in a movie than dusty old fart fucking Harrison Ford.
The one thing I like about this movie, I like when they make movies where it's like fucking the character of the wife who goes on to cheat on the husband later. Fucking, they could have easily, just rewritten the movie to be around her more, and we would have been on her side, right? We would have saw all the reasons she did it, and it's like fucking fucking Kevin Spacey, come on, Facey, he's a fucking prick. Like I can see why she did that. But fucking in the movie, you just left in the cold, like fucking. It doesn't matter like whose side you're on, fucking Kevin Spacey's or hers. Fucking, of course you want to see Kevin Spacey nail that fucking high school chick. That's what we all want to see when we're watching
Yeah.
this movie.
I mean, that's the happy ending we're all edging for, you know?
What we're expecting, basically.
Yeah.
Back in the time when this movie came out, that's the kind of ending we thought we were gonna get because it's like fucking American Beauty. Did this come out after American Pie?
Actually, I'm pretty sure it came out the exact same year, if I'm remembering right. So Mina Suvari was all about the teen fuck films of '99.
As we all were.
Oh, I know I was.
That's a genre I kind of wish would come back.
The teen fuck film, yeah.
It's like they know millennials aren't having sex, so why fucking kid anybody? We'll just be rubbing it in at that time.
I watched a movie from like that time period, 99, 2000, somewhere around there. A slasher movie the other night called Cherry Falls. You ever see that movie?
I did. I used to have that on a DVD double feature with another movie I like, Terror Tract.
Oh, I've seen that listed online. Yeah, that's a great movie because everybody needs to come, so the killer can't kill them because the killer only kills virgins apparently. So everybody just starts fucking at the school later on.
Fucking genius idea for a slasher movie.
Like even the nerdy fat kids and shit are just fucking hot, like chicks.
They're just
everywhere.
slaying the poon. Yeah. I wish, like, there's a part of me that wants to become a serial killer and go after kids in high school just to like get all the kids lucky now, because I couldn't have got that when I was their age.
You know what's fucking weird, and like maybe this is too dark of a subject, like we shouldn't really be going into this, but like if you really were going to become a serial killer, like at this point in time, like, you know, I'm in my 40s, you're in your 30s, Zach, like I don't think it would, if we were going to be killers and put on masks and get knives and shit, I don't think it would be satisfying to kill high school kids at all.
It wouldn't.
Like I would rather get somebody who like has lived a full life and is either like an asshole or just like deserves it. You know what I mean? Like
we had to be Robin Hood. We'd have to fucking go after the Elon Musks of the world and shit like that.
Oh God. Could you imagine fucking frying Elon Musk's balls in a frying pan in front of him as he watches?
Eating them in front of him.
Fucking with all his weird test tube babies he wants to make. Fucking just
feeding it to him like the scene from Hannibal where he feeds him his brain.
Oh, can you imagine the best part? Remember Hannibal? He feeds the guy his own brain. Imagine Elon Musk. We cut the top of his head off so his big genius autistic brain is showing, and then we just come on it, and then we leave.
Exactly. We all just jack off onto it like a bukkake.
Yeah.
And then we seal it back up and we send him on his way.
Exactly. And then he just goes on to keep running Twitter into the fucking ground.
He just goes on to be exactly the same.
It's weird that people are like, to me, Twitter is such a fucking cesspool. I can't stand the people that just go on there and argue and fight all day on purpose, all the trolls and shit. To me, they're like, the worst thing that could ever happen to Twitter is Elon Musk. I was like, that's the fucking perfect The only person more perfect to own Twitter would be like fucking Donald Trump. You know what I mean?
Pretty much, yeah.
But like, we got to talk about that Power Stacy move, though, that Kevin Spacey came home and he didn't know Mina Suvari was in his house with his daughter, and she just totally went and flirted with them and rubbed on him and all that shit. So in a weird way, like, you almost like... You can't condone it because what he's doing is still obviously morally and even legally wrong. But it's like a dangerous fire that somebody keeps like throwing fire on. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And now he's listening through the door.
Yeah.
And he hears her say that like fucking like, oh, if he would work out a little bit. Yeah, and then he actually starts working out.
Yeah, she says if he built up his chest and arms more, I would fuck him. And like obviously she's just like saying it to like make her friend like fucking cringe hard, you know what I mean? Like tease her kind of. And he's like a little girl, he's at the door and then he runs away fucking down the hallway.
And now his mission is set. He's been through the YouTube archives. He's watched all the red pill videos. Yeah. And Andrew Tate has told him all you got to do is fucking get your muscles up a little bit. Become a top 1% earner by selling crypto. And he's on his way, baby. He's going to do that shit.
But yes, he is. He truly. By the way, I'm a little confused. Who exactly is Andrew Tate and what does he do? All I know is that he supposedly got caught in a child sex trafficking ring because he chose to take a picture in front of like a pizzeria box, like a pizza box, and they could tell from the pizza box like what city he was in.
apparently that isn't true, but like fucking I don't know. But basically it's all but confirmed that he's a sex trafficker. He
Yeah.
has videos where he admits to doing it. So basically, the people who are defending him are saying like he's just playing a character, bro. He's gonna go to court and run. He's gonna put out a plea of "I was just kidding, bro," and he's gonna get off with it. And it's just
He's
like,
what do you call it? He just sex traffics during memes, not real life. It's not going to be his defense. But I mean, like, who is he? Because like what did he
used
do?
to be a UFC fighter or something.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I know there's a lot of people that think UFC fighters are the best that society has to offer, and they're always shocked when they go on long sprees of beating women and fucking holding guns to people's heads and shit. But like
These
that,
guys that get paid to take brain injuries to the head, fucking, they turn out to be weird, crazy people.
if you ever know a guy, even just like a regular guy who doesn't fight professionally but just trains at an MMA gym, like these fuckers think they're the biggest power chads of all time. It's just like, well, I could take you down, snap your arm, break it in half. It's like, yeah, and then you would fucking go to jail for like 6 years. So like,
Motherfucker, I wish you would. Have you seen my life?
exactly.
Have you seen my life?
In me, motherfucker.
Exactly. Look, there he is. Fucking, he's getting filmed by our boy with the video camera now.
Yeah, so Kevin Spacey goes in his garage to start lifting these like literally 3-pound weights, and he has to get completely stark naked to do that, to look at himself in the window.
Why is he looking in the window?
I don't know.
That's a two-way mirror, bro. They can see you out the other side. It's not actually a mirror.
I mean, it'd be one thing if he just got like a cheap at Target, like a $12 like full-length mirror that you lean up against the wall. But no, he's like in the window, like with his dick right in the window, so like the whole neighborhood can see him.
It cuts to his dad down in his room. He looks out there and sees Kevin Spacey looking at him. He's like, holy shit, that guy wants to fuck me. Like, he's trying to get me to fuck him, and then the ending would make more sense.
We'll get to that point, because like, when I saw this movie in the theaters for the originally for the first time, I didn't question the ending, but now when I watch it, I got major questions, because I don't think any of what happens in the last 20 minutes of this movie would really happen the way they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, his dad comes in. Look at all those tapes. He got so much fucking porn, and then he gives him a cup, and it, like, oh, piss in this. It's like, I would have just pretended like I was confused and thought he wanted me to comment it. I would have just gave him cum the next day.
I mean, that's what it looked like a specimen jar, like a fertility clinic, whatever.
So yeah, we find out that his really fucking crazy, overbearing dad is like giving him drug tests because he used to be a drug dealer or a drug addict or something.
I think they caught him smoking weed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like now he's actually a huge drug dealer, making thousands of dollars. And he just does fake catering jobs to as a cover to explain. His dad's so dumb he doesn't realize his high school kid has like $30,000 of video equipment in his room, and he thinks he got it all from catering jobs.
I think the literal like reason this movie exists and like what it's trying to tell us is like fucking we waste our time working at these jobs that just fuck us over. Like Annette Bening, she's a real estate agent. She's like literally crying because she just feels so worthless. Fucking our guy here, he feels so worthless. Really, we should all just say fuck it and sell drugs, and we'd be making more money and we'd be living better.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say with the real estate shit, it's so funny because my mom sold real estate when I was in high school, and like she wasn't like this, but there really are like cheesy fuckers out there that are all about their personal mantra and my beliefs and all this shit and my success of selling. And the truth is like, I mean, there are obviously some real estate agents that are better than others, but like the truth is like, you just fucking drive around all day not getting paid, showing people's houses, and then it's just like, you make money if people want to buy the house or not. Like, you have nothing to do with it. Like, you don't sell the house. Like, you just literally, like, all a real estate agent does is do the paperwork for you. Like, I mean, I bought a house last year, and like, that's all they fucking do is you go to their office, they give you the forms. I want to buy this house. Okay, they take the forms from you, they give it to the people that are, you're trying to buy the house from. Like, there's really like zero fucking salesmanship in it, honestly.
Mm-hmm. So our boy Kevin Spacey, he's having another little daydream where she's in the bathtub with all the rose petals. I don't understand why he's so fucking like, he's so cum-brained about this chick when he's got a hot-ass wife in the other room.
But to be fair, when he does want to have sex with her, she doesn't. So it's kind of like...
I can't blame her. Look at him. He's disgusting.
He is masturbating in bed.
Like, did he even try? Did he even say, like, hey, babe? Did he fucking put his arm around her or anything? Fucking whisper in her ear? fucking breathe on her at all.
Yeah.
Fucking, he just started jacking off. I think she was already asleep when he got there.
I think that's what he was doing. He thought she was asleep, so he was just going to jack off. So
He's like, fucking, I don't care about your real vagina sitting here. I'm gonna pretend that I'm having sex with an underage vagina right now. That's so much hotter to me right now.
it is really like odd in reverse. Like in real life, like you got to get the vagina prepped, and it takes a lot more time.
Maybe that was what it was. He just didn't want to preheat the oven, basically.
Yeah, by the time he would have got her like wet enough to have sex, like his boner would have been gone.
You ever just pee in a chick's pussy to get it wet?
No, I've never done that. I don't even think that would work because I think it's like
I know.
I think water like really isn't a lubricant at all. I heard it was like a famous story that I can't remember who it was. It was like Don Was from Was Not Was or something famously. And there was like a book or something where somebody claimed this, that they peed inside Madonna's vagina.
King.
Yeah, it was just like the guy was saying. He's like, we were having sex and I was so drunk I just started peeing in her vagina.
I think it was because she wasn't wet enough. I think he thought it was going to work.
Yeah, dry and musty. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of everybody shitting all over Madonna now?
I really don't like it. Like
It's just so weird. It's so weird.
I feel like she's obviously somebody suffering from. I mean, first of all, the woman's like 64 years old. Hasn't she like earned the right to look however the fuck she wants to look? Nope. We all got input on this now. It's just like don't get me wrong. Like Madonna was like a sex symbol forever. Like literally the first sexual dream I ever had was about Madonna. But it's like. It's like you gotta let people move on in their life. Like whatever she looks like, whether it's age or plastic surgery or just whatever it is, let her fucking be. You know?
Yeah. Fucking, we expect women to look fucking perfect, and it's pretty annoying. It's really, and then she fucking fucks up her face. Yeah. And then fucking like we get mad about it because it's so weird.
It is
the pressure
fucking weird
put on people.
Well, I remember like probably 20 years ago, people started ragging on her for looking old, and she got like super lean and was doing yoga and all this shit, and people were like, whatever. We got to talk about our boy, though. This is the real machinations of Lester's downfall is he wants to go, he's trying to get in shape so he can fuck that high school girl, so he starts running with the gay guys in the neighborhood. And then
he's already covered, look, they've already calmed all over his face. See all that?
I think that was a golden shower. He's so wet. Like, yeah. Like as out of shape as I am, like if I were to like run, like I would sweat all over, but it would just all be in my hair and like maybe my back. This motherfucker is like, he looked like he ran through a sprinkler. He's so wet. But yeah, Chris Cooper sees him talking to his son, and he's like, "Oh, can you lend me that tape of Reanimator?" And he's going in his house, which like I'm kind of surprised Chris Cooper even let this go on. But he's really going up there to buy drugs from him. But it's like, that's what is one thing between Lester and Ricky, is like, I feel like nobody would be that nonchalant about buying drugs, like, right in front of, like, somebody's parents, you know what I mean? Like, Lester should have kept the drug dealing on a down low, because that was, I mean, out of all his power Chad moves that he pulls, blackmailing his boss to get severance pay, and fucking... buying weed from actually Ricky's not underage. They established he's actually 18 years old. Yeah, like I mean I don't know, like just this whole shit, like he just blew it. This is Lester's downfall.
Exactly. Well, fucking being so nonchalant about the drugs he's buying. Exactly.
Which, by the way, do you buy this, that he's going to sell him a giant bag of like regular dirt weed for $300, but if he wants like these two little bricks of like genetically engineered potent weed, it's $2,000. Like honestly, that looks like enough there for like maybe 10 joints or something. Like, would anybody fucking pay $2,000 for weed? I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know.
In 1999, no less. So that's probably like what, $3,500 now. Like you just like.
It sounds like something he's making up, genetically modified by the government. Like, I don't believe you. You're just trying to make me pay more for less.
Like supposedly was fucking John McCain in a lab back then.
Exactly.
Cooking up super duper fucking Maui Wowie or what?
Super weeds.
Fucking George Herbert Walker Bush, head of the CIA, pioneered a new strain of marijuana.
I thought the government was the reason we weren't allowed to study marijuana for a long
Exactly.
time. They're making potent weed.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Maybe the movie, maybe the guy who wrote this movie is full of shit. I don't
Yeah.
believe anything he says.
Yeah, I mean,
Fucking liar.
I mean, the majority of this checks out. You know, the middle-aged guy wanting to fuck the high school girl with the $2,000 weed. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. Wanted to have sex with her while he has a big Stacy wife.
Yeah,
It checks out. All these guys with the big Stacy wives getting really stingy, wanting to cheat on their big Stacy wives. I don't get it.
exactly. I think this is funny too that she's so offended that he's lifting weights.
Not just that, he's getting stoned. He's listening to fucking good music.
Yeah, classic rock.
I forget what he's listening to. Is it like Bob Dylan or something here?
Yeah, I can't remember. Hey, I think this is Bob Dylan's version of All Along the Watchtower plays in this scene.
Kino.
Yeah.
Basically, before we started doing this, my boy here he's like, fucking, you got to pick a movie, baby. And I was just I was sitting there looking through all my collection, like, what should we do? And I said, let's do some fucking Kino.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do some fucking Kino therapy, if you will. We're gonna get all the listeners' hair to fall out. We're gonna fucking inject so much Kino therapy into them.
Well, I told the listeners the first episode of 2023 when me and Bat did Buffalo 66. Well, everybody else is obsessed with Evil Dies Tonight. I'm obsessed with Kino Wins Tonight. This is going to be the year that we bring Kino back full fucking force.
Exactly.
There's going to be so much fucking Kino in the world, your heart won't even be able to take it anymore.
Fucking, what were the three options I gave you? I gave you this. I gave you Can't Hardly Wait and
Right.
Homeward Bound or something like that. That's
So,
my Kino.
yeah, I mean, they're all good movies. Just this was the only one I actually had a copy of. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. And it's kind of funny, like, we're recording this a little bit before, like, we're recording this, like, right after Valentine's Day. This would have been the perfect movie to release on Valentine's Day, really.
It was.
Because, I mean, what's more romantic than just thousands of rose petals sprinkling onto your cock?
Exactly. Onto a naked high school kid.
So this was, like, my favorite Power Chad move of when I originally saw this movie is Kevin Spacey's basically... which, by the way, like I had to do this recently, like in the last week at my job. You got to write
Blackmail them into giving you money.
Well, you didn't get that far yet, but we'll see. But you got to make the list of what you do, and it's really weird that they like had like us doing this because like we're actually like really actually kind of understaffed. We're not overstaffed, we're understaffed. We need more people to finish the amount of work we have. But it's all this efficiency expert shit. Like this is kind of like. Actually, Office Space might have came out in the same year too. Office Space was either 98 or 99, I can't remember. But it's like the same shit of like, basically, if you can't write on a paper that you are worth having around, then we fire you. Like that's kind of shit that's going on here. And
did you literally just write "I'm worth having around"? Period.
I just wrote pretty much. I do a lot. So
That's
yeah.
what I wrote too. I do a lot.
And even my supervisor was like, just write down anything. If you look at a website for 5 minutes, write it down. I was like, okay, I'll do it.
First, I get on Pornhub, jack off for about an hour and 30 minutes at least. I try to pace myself. I don't want to be I don't want to be no too pump chump. Okay.
Yeah.
Go to my stamina.
It's like first thing I do, I roll out of bed and I put on the sweatpants, and then I turn on my computer.
I roll out of bed and then I roll a joint.
Yeah.
You should write shit like that down. And then I fucked your wife.
Yeah.
And then I came to work.
Then I washed my balls in the sink.
Exactly. And then I dumped all the water from the sink into your coffee mug.
But basically they're like, oh, Kevin Spacey, if you don't write this job description, we're gonna fire you. And like he finally writes it, and he's like, I jerk off, I do this, and they're like, oh, we're gonna fire you. And he's like, no, you're not. He's like, you're going to give me a bunch of severance pay, a full year's worth. He's like, because I know the secret that the guy running the company paid for a hooker with a company card, and she racked up all these charges on it and shit. So he does have a legitimate blackmail. And then he even tells the guy too, the guy's like, okay, that's fine, but I'm not going to go on this. He's like, yes, you are. He's like, because I'm going to tell them that you gave me the offer to blow you to keep my job.
Oh, look at that shot. That was a nice shot.
The dead bird, or
Fucking him standing there with the camera.
yeah,
Very.
and you saw the plane going overhead.
Yeah, that was a fucking very Kino. It reminded me of the cover from mid '90s. You see that movie?
I did. Not only did
That's what
I see
I thought of when I saw it.
I saw mid '90s in a theater, and it's beautifully projected exhibitionist, fucking 4x3 square, fucking whatever, and like it was so annoying because there was like I watched them do it too. There was kids that like the movie theater. They didn't do it like the exits. Like for some reason, my movie theater here has like when I was a kid, they would tell you to leave the exits like that are in the theater. Here, they're only like fire exits, so they put like signs up like if you open this door, an alarm or sound and all that kind of shit. Fire alarms will go off. So like kids can't just let their buddies like come into the regular door. So like I watched these kids when I was like right before the movie starts. I always go and take a piss so I don't have to go during. I watched these fucking jerk off skateboard kids like go to like the end of like the multiplex where there was like a glass door to the outside and let their buddy in. And their buddy came in and watched the movie with them, but I guess it was so crowded, their buddy like sat on like the steps. He didn't even sit in a seat. It was weird. It was like the fucking weirdest fucking experience I ever had.
You didn't even get a seat. You didn't pay. Did he just say I'm gonna came? I thought he said that.
He did.
I was like, did this movie rip off my idea?
He did.
Before I did it.
So we cut to the real estate king, buddy, whatever his name is, nailing. Like, did you see how fucking spread out and that Benny's legs was in that hotel room when the real estate king was fucking? Oh, this is great. Did you see the cop pull up behind him and then lean back because he was like holding traffic back for the movie?
This scene's awesome.
Yeah.
He's high, driving, singing American Way. He's doing the guitar. Basically all the shit you do. All the shit you do.
Like, why do we make guitar sounds with our fucking mouths like that when we're like...
Why not? It's fun to do. You just feel on top of the world when you do that.
So he goes to this, I think it's Mr. Smiley's burger place here.
We didn't mention, though, the Annette Bening. She cheated on him.
She let the real estate king... Because, like, the real estate king, his young Stacy wife is leaving him. She moved to New York. So he just starts fucking Annette Bening because he can. I think this is actually Mr. Smiley's is actually at Carl's Jr. Location because it looks like they just kind of repainted, and the menu outside said green burrito items at 4. And like, there's a weird thing in Carl's Jr. out here, Zach, where certain locations will sell like fake burritos and shit. They call it green burrito, and but they only sell it like after dinner time or something. It's weird.
What? So he blackmailed his boss to give him all that severance pay, and then he goes and he gets a job at a fast food restaurant. Why does he do that exactly? Just for fun? Just because he's bored?
Well, he talks about
he probably doesn't want to go home, so because then his wife would know he was fired or something. Maybe he's hiding it.
No, he tells her like what he did because that night she's like, "You lost your job, you loser," and all that shit. Yeah. But no, he talks about he when he was talking with fucking Wes Bentley earlier, he's like, "Damn, you make this much money from selling weed?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "I flipped burgers for a summer for like $2 an hour," and Wes Bentley goes, "Well, that sounds shitty." He goes, "No, it actually wasn't." And he's like, "That was the best time of my life. I loved like hanging out with all the people and working with them and stuff." So like that's why he works at the burger place, because he wants to like have fun again and just be around young people and shit.
So classic midlife crisis.
Yeah, classic.
He wants to feel like he's a kid again.
Like
that's why he wants to have sex with a teenager.
Yeah, my midlife crisis is different. Like I want to do like all the stupid shit I did as a kid, but I still want to keep my fucking high paying job. I don't want to go back to making shitty minimum wage.
Exactly.
Like I want to get drunk and jump off balconies again, but I still want to make a good living doing it.
Fucking, it is. It's fucking. Life can really give you the cames sometimes.
It can.
It can give you the cames. Sorry, my dog is fucking like rubbing up against my leg, wanting attention, and I'm trying to give her attention while we're doing this commentary.
Yeah, this is like a kind of on the nose scene of like Wes Bentley and Thora Birch are walking over to school talking, and they see a funeral coming, and like they just keep staring and staring, like a funeral procession, like with the hearse and a bunch of cars behind it. Which I never understood that. Like I never really when nobody in my family died, like we never did like the follow the hearse around through the town shit.
Yeah. Fucking, I wonder what the significance of that was. Just to remind us that death is always near.
I think really what it was just to trigger this story. He tells her that he once saw a homeless lady frozen to death, and it was so beautiful. Because like at the end, when "Come on My Face" he dies, he stares at him, and he's like in awe, and he's like, "Oh,
yeah." Maybe it kind of leaves us hanging on: is this kid going to be okay, or is he fucked up for life?
Is he more? I actually think he's like weirdly enough, like the most normal person in the movie. Like the way everybody's such a weirdo, you know.
There's a part of me too that thinks that the movie's trying to make some kind of statement about how like, oh yeah, our parents always talk about how like fucking like they weren't ready to get married and shit, and like oh yeah, fucking everybody always wants to like, you know, I'll get married or I'll settle down and have a kid whenever I have my life in order first, but like you never have your life in order first, like you never like you never stop trying to have your life in order. You basically just gotta fucking go with what happened, roll with the punches, basically.
Yeah, it's weird because like I remember when I was a kid watching movies, like you know, like a kid, and I would watch like say like high school movies, and everybody seemed like an adult, and I'm like, oh, high school age people, they really know what they're doing, you know what I mean? And then you get to high school age and you realize everybody's just a child, and then you're like, oh, people in college are so grown up, and then you go through college age, it's like no, and then it's like you're like in your late 20s and everybody's like a mess. Or like everybody's like pretending that they got their shit together and getting married, but then they're getting divorced really quick too. Or like it's just you know, they're fucking 50, 60, 70-year-olds who like they don't know what the fucking to do. Like
we are all destined to become fucking 80-year-old children that have no idea what we're doing.
Exactly. And I kind of feel like that's the way life should be.
In a way, yeah. Like
in real life, like there's no fucking Buddhist monk level of wisdom that the average person, like, you know, attains.
Exactly. In a way, it leaves this movie, the ending leaves it open because it's like fucking look how fucked up the lives of their parents turned out. Maybe they have a chance, even though their beginning came out of something really fucked up.
Yeah.
Also. And this part where he's like, fucking, I want to show you the most beautiful thing I've ever filmed, and it's just a floating bag. Yeah. I remember this was like so many memes about this, like when this movie came out, people were
spoofing it, yeah.
Mocking the idea. Like I think what he's obsessed with is just like fucking like look at it. It's chaos, baby. The wind, it's blown like this is chaos in motion, but it's beautiful, and it's like the fucking the bag is dancing. Well, you could tell he was high as fuck while he was filming this.
Oh yeah,
and thinking all this shit like fucking oh my god.
But you know what's weird though? Like even when I saw this movie the first time in the theater, before like I really knew anything about the blow-in bag and all that kind of shit, like it is weirdly transfixing when you watch it in the course of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I was reading on the Wikipedia. This is true. The bag blown around in the wind is actually what inspired the entire movie. Was the writer was outside, and I don't think he videotaped it. He just happened to see it. He said there was a bag dancing around the wind, and he watched it for like 15 minutes outside of the World Trade Center.
It was a warning.
It probably was. But like, yeah, so like literally the writer witnessing this in real life, you know, I just always watch it. I'm like, is there like a guy with a leaf blower? Like, how did they do it for the movie? You know what I mean?
I think it's supposed to be some kind of fucking meditate, like thinking about like chaos, like fucking we're moving with the wind, baby. There's no fucking design. Or I don't know, fucking maybe it's just like fucking we roll with the punches. Who knows? I don't know. Fucking I'm trying to make sense out of it as we're watching.
It's like I get it. Like I actually don't find it pretentious or goofy or anything.
I never did either. Yeah.
Like I actually really like it, to be honest with you. I kind of like everything that comes out of Ricky's mouth because like. I mean, like, I don't really identify his character, like, his point of view, but I find it, like, interesting, the things he says, you know what I mean? And I like his delivery, kind of how, like, blank and emotionless he is throughout the movie.
I think it's supposed to be like he's given kind of a performance that like we don't know, is he a future like school shooter, or
Yeah.
is he gonna be okay? Because like
I,
plenty of people who are just really introspective think about shit like this too. Yeah.
yeah, it's weird because like he totally is like the whole backstory. Like I don't think they've really explained it yet in the movie, but the whole backstory was he was in a mental institution for 2 years, so everybody thinks he's crazy, and really all it was he was just getting bullied at school, and some kids were saying some shit about his dad, so he just beat the shit out of the kid, and like I guess he didn't stop in time, and he really hurt him, I guess. Which like honestly, it's just like, well, that's not even like mental illness. That's just fucking somebody being fed up with a bully. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And then he said like, oh, fucking the time he spent in the mental institution were like fucking helped him a lot or something like that.
Yeah.
Helped him realize like fucking what he did wrong or something. Fucking she's so Stacy, the mom.
Let's just talk about that.
I get like uh my brain, I forget what I was talking about, and I just noticed that she's very Stacy every time she shows up.
It's a very like 90s kind of thing, but like her hair has it's like a big part of it, huh? That hairdo she has.
I love that hairstyle. I like when women have the short kind of, I don't know why.
Floppy hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like some Han Solo hair or something.
Very Stacy.
Yeah.
Carol Brady type shit, but not quite Carol Brady.
Like grown out Carol Brady, yeah.
What Carol Brady's fucking mullet got pretty crazy towards the end of the series.
Speaking of who pulled off that Carol Brady mullet look better, Florence Henderson. Is that her name, Florence Henderson? Or Shelley Long in the Brady Bunch movies?
Fucking.
I gotta go with Shelley Long, personally.
She made my Shelley Long, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I'm looking at it right now on webcam.
My dick?
Yeah, you left the camera on.
Oh, I thought you were saying you're looking at Shelley Long's mullet right now.
No.
I thought I was being funny saying my dick. Chad.
How could...
Yeah, the scene where they blow up during the fucking this is when he reveals that he's not working anymore, or fucking, and then he throws the plate
of asparagus.
We talked over the Nazi plate earlier too.
Yeah, let's talk about the Nazi plate. As Ricky brings Jane into his house, and his dad has like a den or a study that's all full of guns, but he has like a plate that looks like an ordinary plate in a cabinet, and Ricky unlocks it. He's like got copies of the keys, and he wants to show it to her, and he flips the plate over, and just on the back is like a little Nazi symbol. It's like fine china made by the Nazis.
Mm-hmm. You think there's something to the idea that like fucking just a certain type of person would want to collect a Nazi thing? Like when I found out that Marilyn Manson collected Nazi shit, I was like, he's probably kind of a weirdo. He's probably at least a little weird.
What I thought was interesting, what Ricky said was, he says there are people that have entire giant collections of all this Nazi memorabilia. He says, but my dad just has this one thing, like this one plate. He's like, and like, he kind of intimates like his dad fascinates him. Like, why would you just barely dip your toe into this? Like, is there more to it? My dad actually worked with a guy. He used to call him the Nazi, and he knew him for years. And would even like
Nazi?
Go see movies. No, he just called him by. I don't want to say the guy's name on there, but he said Mike so and so the Nazi, and this dude had like a legit collection. I mean, this was like the 70s and 80s when this guy bought this shit, but like he had like full Nazi uniforms. He had actual pistols used by the Nazis. He had like I know like he had some kind of gas mask thing. I'm just kind of like I don't know. It's just weird. Like I guess that was a thing. Really, like I don't think he really even during the 90s it was a thing, but in the past, yeah, people are just fascinated. And like I remember when I was a kid, because like the Indiana Jones movies, all this shit, like there was always talk of Nazis in movies, and I'm like, well, who are they? Like, where are they? And then like you find out like, well, no, the Nazis got like killed off all in like the 40s and shit. And like even as a kid, I was like, this is like fucking almost 50 years ago this shit happened. Like, why are people so obsessed with Nazis? Like, I always thought it was weird. Like, I know part of it obviously is World War II was a big part of history, and like like all history, it recedes into the past, and the farther we go along, less people care about it. But there was just a big World War II obsession, and I think with the Nazis in particular, people were obsessed, just like how they're obsessed with serial killers now, with people obsessed with like actual, truly evil humans. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And the fear that it happens again.
Yeah, like there was so much shit. Movies, Zach, and the TV shows and shit in the 80s and even early 90s that was all about like, could it happen again? It was all about like these cults starting and people believing shit. Like,
yeah. I remember when I was a kid, I fucking was always making little videos with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I had a video camera and I was always filming shit. I was like this guy, and this shit right here never happened to me. I wish. Yeah,
so he's recording Thora Birch from across the street, and like they're already pretty much boyfriend and girlfriend. But again, this is the big twist reveal. The breast augmentation. She wants implants, right? Well, she takes off her shirt to show him like a fully loaded bra, and then she takes it off, and you see, I'm guessing, 36 double Ds get unleashed here, and it's just like, how much bigger do you want to go with that? Like, do you want to be fucking Pandora Peaks or whatever her name is? Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And then it's like he zooms in. Is he gonna zoom in so we can't see the boobies?
Yeah, well, he zooms in and sees the boobies, and he just like, but then his dad's gonna bust in and beat him up, and like
beat him off.
Yeah, the whole movie, the dad hates him because he thinks he's gay, but he busts in at like the one time where he's doing like the most heterosexual thing he could possibly be doing.
Yeah. How funny would it have been if, like, we see that shot where he's looking at her and we see her in the background on the TV, and, like, as soon as she pulls the bra off, he just zooms into her tits and just keeps it there the whole time. He doesn't even want to see her face. He's like, damn. He's like, look at them tits.
So Chris Cooper beats the shit out of him, busts his eye open. He's telling him to fight back. He's like, no, I won't. And he's asking him, are you on dope again? And he says, no, sir. I wanted to show my girlfriend your Nazi plate. He says, a girlfriend? He's like, yeah, she lives next door. So again, he was so convinced his son was gay, he's shocked when he says, I have a girlfriend.
And then he's like, okay with it. He's like, fucking, oh, you can see my Nazi. I'll show her my Nazi plate all you want. If I can get your girlfriend to come over here and fuck on my Nazi plate.
Well, yeah, he even looks across the thing. He sees her naked hiding behind the curtain.
What if he wanted his son to bring her there, fuck her on the Nazi plate, and then come on the Nazi plate?
I think he would probably actually be repulsed by that when we find out his true character. But
that he soiled that damn Nazi plate with your semen.
No,
you sick fuck.
No, I think he's just like you let a woman touch my Nazi plate. Like only men can touch my Nazi plate.
Exactly. No broads allowed.
Yeah. And I think this is supposed to be like shoved down your throat dialogue here, where he's yelling at Rick. He says, "You can't just go around doing what you want in life." Like it's just everybody is.
You can't.
No, you can't. You can't.
What the fuck is the point of it then? I thought it was a gift. You're giving me mixed messages here. It's a gift, but also you can't do whatever. Weird.
You can't just do all the big cames that you want to. You can't just grab a hot guy and do a big came. That's the lesson of this movie.
Cry tears of blood. Yeah. Looks like
you can only cry tears of came.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, like,
is his dad like depressed, or is he walking out of the room with his son being higher on his like fucking respect meter or lower, like after this scene? Because he found out he's not gay.
Yeah.
But he did look at his Nazi plate, though.
Yeah, he did. I think he's probably lower just because he doesn't really value heterosexual relationships, really. The dad doesn't, so it's
as we learn.
Yeah. Later.
Oh, look how hot she looks pointing a gun at me.
Does it look like her shirt is like sprayed with blood, too? It's weird.
Hot. My dream is just Annette Bening pointing a gun at my forehead saying, you better make me come.
And then right before she actually does, she pulls the trigger and blows your fucking brains.
Exactly.
They need to, like how they did that thing with Aubrey Plaza. I can't even talk. Aubrey Plaza, where she read all her thirst tweets. Could you imagine? Like whoever that channel is like Annette Benny reads Buddy Kane. That's the real estate king's name. I kept fucking up.
Buddy came.
Yeah, Buddy Kane. Like, and they I think it's Wired magazine or something. Like they make them girls do those videos. Read your thirst tweets. Annette Benny reads her thirst tweets, all from a guy named Zach.
Exactly.
And that Benny did a big game that time he shot a gun at American Beauty.
Basically, that's almost the ending our boy gets. Fucking came on Facey.
Yeah.
But he fucking he goes and fucking dies too early.
He does.
That would have been a better way to die.
Have you ever seen the like, I think it's like the single 7-inch whatever artwork for Black Flag's Police Story, I think it is, where it's like a drawing of a guy and like there's a gun, like somebody else is holding a gun in his mouth. Mm-hmm. And like, I guess you're supposed to intimate, and like I'm pretty sure then there's like the word caption saying "Make me come." Like the gun's gonna come off, like shoot the bullet in the fucking guy's mouth.
Fucking hell yeah.
That's what that shit reminded me of right there. So yeah, so this is like the point where like she comes home and she just got fucked hard by Buddy Kane, the king of real estate.
She's glowing. She's been fucked so good.
Yeah. She shot the gun and she got fucked. So like she's like living on cloud 9 and he's just like, "Oh, like there's something with you." And like I'm 99% sure he knows his wife has been fucking, but he doesn't care because now he just wants to fuck, right?
Exactly.
And
that's what a king does.
Yeah, he even says we have a house all to ourselves, and like, can't remember if it was this part or another part, but he talks about like how they were when they were young and shit, and like they just used to, always be like having fun and boning and shit. And then like he gets ready to put the moves on her, but he's holding a beer, and she's like, "You're gonna spill your beer on the couch," and he instantly loses his erection because he gets reminded like how nagging she is.
Fucking, I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I would have been like, "Oh, I'm going to spill the beer all over. I'm going to spill the beer all over your titties."
Yeah. He should have been like, "I'm going to drink the beer and then pee it into your vagina."
Exactly.
Every drop.
Hell yeah. Pour it in there. Fucking wash out the other guy's stew before I go swimming in there.
I feel bad for you, really. I feel bad for him, like, reclaim your... I'm going to destroy your ego and make... Your hair isn't long enough for me to pull it back, but I'm still going to destroy your ego.
Jeez. She's so hot. She's such a Stacey.
I feel bad for him, though, in his big rebellious midlife crisis. He's always fucking drinking Miller Lite. It's like, come on, dude. Get something better than that. Fucking,
is that not good beer?
No, it's really not. Especially after they, like, Miller High Life is like a good wino beer. But regular Miller and Miller Lite, it's just like, I don't know. Like, I can never drink it, and like I would always be around people like, let's go in on an 18-pack, and it's like if the person always wanted to do Miller Lite, I would get it. And like normally, like I drink, like when I start drinking, I drink like 3 beers in like literally like the first 10-15 minutes, and like fucking Miller Lite from the first sip, man, it's like fucking just so bland. It's just like, it's not like, oh, it's so gross and bad taste. It's just so fucking bland. I can't stand to drink it.
Oh, this looks familiar.
This is the replay of the video from the first. But Miller High Life, which is like the champagne of beers, that's like their cheaper version of Miller. Like that shit's good because it's like super fucking foamy and fizzy. It's almost like the shittiest like low level malt liquor. That I'll guzzle all day long. I'll drink a fucking gallon of that dog shit.
Mm-hmm. We've gone full circle. We are seeing the scene from the beginning where she eventually asks, or he asks if she wants him to kill her dad, and we're finding out he's naked here.
Because they just boned, yeah. But like it's funny though because they set up like his parents, or like not his mom. His mom's catatonic. We didn't even talk about Ricky's mom, played by the awesome what's her name, Allison Janney, the queen of sitcoms. Literally, she has a show on called Mom. But like his dad is so strict. He's like, his dad ain't that strict because his dad just lets him fuck his girlfriend in the bedroom at his house. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's pretty fucking. That's all you need, really. Fucking.
That's a good dad. Like, stop giving. So what if he wants to go blow Kevin Spacey?
Uh, he's a fucking closet queer that
Yeah.
hates the queers, which is fucking lame.
Yeah.
And he's a Nazi, maybe.
Right.
But
Well,
fucking
I
whatever.
don't. I mean, you can't literally be a Nazi. Like, I know everybody's like on Twitter is like, this person's like, no, you can't actually be a Nazi because like they all died
Exactly.
fucking 40 years ago. That's the one thing I get tired about Nazi. Like, you can call somebody a Nazi admirer. You can say somebody is Nazi-like, but the term Nazi, like you can't. That's like saying like that's like saying like I don't know like you're a member of the fucking Cretaceous era of dinosaurs. Like you can't be from that. Like you can't be a Cro-Magnon man because like they died out fucking billions of years ago. You know
I'm a
right?
Cro-Magnum man because I wear a size Magnum, and I had another joke, but I fucking forgot it. It was really funny.
Do you really wear a size Magnum?
I actually do. There's a practical reason to get those though. They're not as tight. They don't fucking choke the life out of your dick.
Yeah, I actually had somebody buy me a box of them because they thought I needed them, and it turns out I didn't, which is fine. But like I actually need like that tight ass fit, like or else like I lose a boner with the rubber. I don't even know if I could wear a rubber now anymore. To be honest with you, like after you have sex without a rubber, like when you're young and you're just like get a boner when the breeze blows by, like you can wear a condom all night long and bang, and like I used to go through like 3 or 4 condoms a night, but like yeah, like once you go, like I don't know shit what it's been over 10 years, it's like actually it's way more than that, but you know what I mean, like I don't think there's any going back. I don't think I could ever put one on. Like I think if I put one on I just would lose a boner in like fucking 2 seconds.
Yeah, fucking condoms aren't the same thing. You don't need like, oh fucking I can wear the other size. Like I don't need to have the Magnum. It's just like fucking comfortable, I guess. Fucking the smaller ones fit just fine. The snugger fits.
Yeah.
It's
Which
like
is regular, yeah.
It's like anytime I'm making fun, anytime you find out someone's got a 2-inch dick, it's like my dick is technically 2 inches too, but I'm ignoring the other 8.
Yeah.
So basically, that snugger fit will fit anyway. Just like it won't cover the whole thing. It's okay.
Well, what I remember from the Magnum when I tried to wear it, it was like the whatever part on the shaft of the condom, like it didn't, that part didn't seem like baggy or anything. It just seemed like when you rolled it down, like I guess what do you call it, the mouth of it or whatever, like that part, yeah, you are right. It is like looser.
Exactly.
It's like basically just doesn't squeeze the base of your dick as bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get them on there, they're so tight, they squeeze your dick so hard that your pee hole comes outside of your dick.
I've never actually, I mean, unless they're like a tiny, tiny hole that I didn't see. Everybody says condoms break. Like maybe just because I would switch them out like in between, sessions or whatever. But like I've never actually even had one snap on me like that. How everybody claims they pull out and they don't realize that it broke off. Like I think if you were having condom sex and then it tore apart and then you were bareback, like I think you would fucking know the difference. You know what I mean?
True.
Everybody's like, I did a big came and I pulled out and then it was just hanging there. I was like, oh, really?
Exactly. The baby. I did a big came. I pulled out. The baby was already there.
The baby's hand was reaching out.
Just a disembodied hand sitting there. It wasn't formed all the way yet.
Which there always would be. I remember like literally when I was like in grade school, like fucking people would make jokes.
It makes sense that we're talking about this while this scene's happening.
Yeah, while they're having. But like I remember people would always make jokes like a guy had sex with a pregnant woman and then he felt the baby grabbing his dick or something. Like that was like a popular joke when I was a kid. I don't even know.
That's oddly sexualizing kids.
Well, this was the 80s, dude. Like nobody thought, no, like people just, that was just a granite taken.
Nobody got offended when you did that. Really, no. They didn't.
No, I know it's totally not
people
the house.
People are so offended now.
Because the neighborhood, but doesn't Lester's house kind of look like Freddy Krueger's house with the red door? It just the what do you call it? The shutters are blue instead of green.
Exactly. He just introduced this is the last day of his life.
Yeah, and it's funny because we still have a lot of movie left to go. Like, yeah, almost 40 minutes left to go. So,
what would you do if you woke up in the morning and you found out that this is the day you're gonna die? You don't know how or when, but it's just like fucking. You know that it's sometime today. What
yeah.
would you do?
I would go and check into the hospital so they could watch me. So hopefully I wouldn't die.
What if there's no stopping? What if you waste that one last day in the hospital? That's a terrible way to die.
I think that's the only way I would like feel better, honestly.
Exactly. I would probably just do everything he does. I'd run, listen to The Seeker.
Oh yeah, The Seeker, man. The only movie that used The Seeker better than how it is in this movie is Our Boy and the Limey. You ever see The Limey?
I don't think so.
Classic Steven Soderbergh. I put it in the top 3 of Steven Soderbergh films, really.
Steven Soderbergh is like fucking 6 degrees of Steven Soderbergh with this movie.
He really is.
Exactly.
Our boy Sam Mendes, man. What happened to Sam Mendes? Why did he start doing bitch-ass James Bond movies?
Yeah, who knows? Something about fucking this movie, it's making me want to fucking to build muscle up and fucking listen to music and smoke weed and have sex with a high school chick.
Yeah. Like, honestly, like, I mean, like, I don't have like a terrible relationship with my woman the way Kevin Spacey does in this movie, but like, I oddly like really, I don't know if sympathize is the right word, but I oddly relate it to him in this movie because it's like you watch this movie and like it's really weird like being in your 40s because like it's this thing of like when you're like 20 you think, oh my god, when I'm 40 I'm gonna be like this old man and shit, you know what I mean? But when you're in your 40s, like I guess you're technically middle age really, like you realize you're still young. Like you're in this weird spot where you're not young and you're not old.
You're not a boy, not yet a woman. Like that song from
Not a boy, not yet a woman.
Well, that's the more progressive version.
That's the more progressive. But no, like, and that's where I feel like Kevin Spacey was like, you're in this thing where like technically you can kind of do everything you used to do. It's just you just don't do it anymore because the situation of life kind of stops you, and then like people get really numb by it. And like I totally relate to it because there's like so much shit like I'm just like disappointed that like I can't do anymore just because either the world is different or just gonna work all the time. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like I could technically do it if I just like kind of like either had the free time or I just whatever, you know. I mean, even shit like working out, it's like fuck. Like I've been for years, I've been like half-assed wanting to get in shape and doing shit and then stopping and starting and whatever, you know.
It's like it's so much easier and funner sometimes to just sit down and eat like a fucking entire thing of ice cream. Yeah,
and just not give a shit.
Exactly. And it's like, why should we? We're gonna be dead someday.
Right. But then you get in that weird cycle too, where it's like if I eat the ice cream, I'm just gonna make myself die quicker. But then it's like, but if you're not eating if you're not eating ice cream, then what's the point of even living? So this is like kind of the most like famous kind of trailer moment I think of this movie is when the Buddy Kane and his wife go through the drive-thru and he hears them over the speaker, which like that I've worked at McDonald's before. Like that's not how it works. Like when you're flipping burgers in the back, you don't hear what's going on in the drive-thru, but you got to understand it's creative license movie world.
Or he's got the headset on. Were they just shorthanded? He was doing the drive-thru window while he was flipping the burgers.
I mean, maybe, but the girl is like doing the drive-thru. She got the headset on too. And like, at least when I worked fast food, only one person really wore the headset at a time.
Fucking, I think you're giving this movie too much scrutiny. I think this checks out. I think this is one of those things that checks out.
But he hears his wife over the fast food speaker, like flirting with her fucking boyfriend, being all over each other. And
even when she gets caught cheating, she's hot as fuck.
Yeah. I like how cold-blooded he is with her and, like, how she goes in a hissy fit. She's trying to be like, we were at a seminar. We were at the blah, blah, blah. And, like, this moment of, like... Because, you know, this is what it's got really got to be, like, for two people, like, married people, whatever. Like, I mean, Peter Gallagher is separated from his wife, but, I mean, obviously she's still with Kevin Spacey. But this has to be, like, that moment of, like, when you get caught cheating, like, the two people realize, like, it's such a come down. Like, he doesn't really care because he's a big dick Chad, but she's all crying because now she's going to miss that great penis.
Fucking, yeah, it sets up, like, fucking, man, her life is probably just as fucking sad as Kevin Spacey's is. Really fucking yeah, the way she was talking to the daughter, yeah, she's like, you gotta learn, fucking, you can't depend on anybody. It's like, fucking, who let her down, man? And it's just like,
Yeah.
and then she slaps her, like, fucking, how dare you got so much? And it's like, obviously, this is a person who was like, fucking, man, when I was a kid, I didn't have anything. I'm gonna make sure my kids have all the things I didn't have. And they work so much, and they get caught up in it. Life passes them by. They fucking, they're always doing that shit. They're always working. They're always fucking on the doing the. They're running in the fucking cage trying to get their cheese.
I mean, I totally get why people feel like that, but I feel like that's kind of fake. Like, I don't think life really passes you by. Like, whether you're just going through the motions and going to work and being whatever, or if you're actually living it up and have a good time. Because I've had different periods of time and both in my life. And I feel like life goes by fast no matter what. Honestly. Well, I think there's just a fantasy that life is passing us by, and we need to stop and smell the roses, or go get her a fuck on with a young girl or something.
Exactly. Fucking, we just become so used to it, and then fucking we start going on autopilot. We gotta do something to make us remember that we're alive.
That we're Chads, really.
We gotta go cheat on our wives and shit.
Because it's really not about being alive or dead. It's about, are you Chad or not?
Exactly. You get fucking your midlife crisis. You buy a new car. You cheat on your wife with a high school student who's friends with your kid. Fucking all that shit.
Yeah, I feel like I'm totally like becoming Mr. Cliche midlife crisis, because like all I do is look at sports cars all day and wonder if I should go ahead and buy one. But then again, the only reason I want one is because my lady bought one a couple years ago, and ever since then I was just like, oh man, like it's so much fun just to ride around in it, and I'm just like, imagine driving it all the time.
Oh yes, Kino shit.
It is.
Yeah, this is the last night before. This is we're gearing up for the final act of the movie here.
Now this is a little silly though. Like Spacey beeps Ricky because he's out of weed, and like Cooper sees through the windows of the garage or whatever.
This is such a Three's Company moment.
It is like he sees Spacey embracing. Spacey got his arm around his neck and shit, and he's like, oh, they're about to do some gay shit because like Spacey's got his shirt off, and
he sits down in the chair and just leans back.
He leans back, and meanwhile, like Ricky bends down. He's like, okay, I'll roll a joint for you because you don't know how to roll a good one. So he's down on his knees, and Spacey's leaning back. So it looks like he's blowing him, but not really, though. That's what's weird. It was like, I always remember it, like, oh, look, he thought that because it looked like he was sucking his dick, but like, not really. Like, he sees it. But like, it's so obvious that Wes Bentley's like back is like facing away, or like his front is facing away from Kevin Spacey. So it's like, if anything, he could have only been giving him like a hand job sideways, refusing to look at him, not really blowing him. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't that have blown everybody's minds and been like a shock ending if the dad just started jacking off to his son, blowing some guy?
See, I think that's actually the better ending for what they're going for. Like, honestly, because like that would be, because it's supposed to be a twist. Because like Chris Cooper, you see him backing away from the window of what he saw, and you think his reaction is like, oh my god, my son is like blowing this guy that lives next door. But then we find out later it's just he really got hard watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we'll get to it when we get to it. But it's like, like here's Mina Savari's now is hitting on Kevin Spacey hard. So like now, like, what do you call it? Like the prey has become the predator at this point, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. She walks in. She notices like how long has that been since she said that? Has she seen him at all up until this point? Is this the first time she's seen him with the new? How long has he been
the muscles
working out?
Well, I mean, the movie from beginning to end only takes place in the course of like a week and something. So how muscular did he get in a week?
Yeah, I can't imagine it was that enough to notice, really.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that doesn't check out.
Yeah.
That's one thing. The movie, everything else checks out, though, I'm pretty sure.
So Chris Cooper got a big heart on because he thought his son was giving blowjobs next door. And, like, now he's, like, creepily, like, hiding in his son's room. and he says like, "Oh, you went through my things or something." And he's like, "No, I saw you next door," and like this is the point where they argue, and he basically tells him, he says, "I will not sit back and watch my only son become a cocksucker."
Oh man! And then he smacks him right in the face.
Well, he tells him too. He says, "I'll throw you out of this house."
I'm all into it. I forgot he said that too. Yeah. And I was just like, "What happens next?" I forgot.
And he tells him, "I'd rather you be dead than be a faggot," is what he says. And then he starts telling him like, "Yeah, Dad, I'm gay, and I'm the best piece of ass in 3 states," and all this kind of bullshit, just to trigger him even more. And then he's going around because yeah.
What if you say, "Dad, I give head so well, fucking, just put your dick in my mouth. I bet you come right away. I bet you come right away."
I mean, I feel like Ricky as a character is so smart. He probably would know his dad was gay, honestly, if this was being realistic. But I never noticed either. Like Chris Cooper has like that big whatever it is, Marines class ring looking thing on. That's why he always busts him up, like his face up with like one punch. He's like, "That's not fair, man. You have a fair fight with your son. You got to take your fucking rings off, man." Drawing blood with the ring. I remember there was guys that this fucking pussy punch, he didn't even punch my friend. He tried to punch my friend. My friend was sitting down, and we were all talking at the bar, and this guy had problems with us, and we're talking to him, and not agitating, but just talking to him, and the guy got pissed, and he got up and he kind of swung at my friend like a sucker punch, but he swung downwards, and he cut my friend's lip, not because he punched him forward, he just down, and the guy's fucking wedding ring put it just a scratch on my friend's lip. And I was like, what a fucking bitch move. You can't take a swing, let alone a sucker punch of somebody with a fucking ring on. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Your friend should have smacked the shit out of him, took his ring off, stuck his dick in it, and then got a boner. Because then it'd be hard to take off.
The guy was such a fucking prick. Immediately his friends grabbed him and pulled him away and shit. And I was just like,
you ever think of that? You ever think what would happen if you put your dick in something that you couldn't break or get off and got a boner? And then it just started fucking shit, it hurts. Get it off, but I can't. It's fucking stuck.
What, like a trap from a fucking Saw movie or what?
Exactly. That should be one of the new movies.
I was gonna tell you. I was gonna pitch it. Might as well pitch it now. Is we should do a spoof of Saw, but call it Cum. And just literally, it's 2 guys locked in this room, and it's a permanent there's no way out. The walls are thick concrete, and the villain Cum Saw, he tells them you have 90 minutes to fill up these 2 jars with your semen. Whoever fills up the semen line on the jar first gets to leave, and the other guy is just chained down here until you starve to death.
That's my fucking kink.
Yeah. You would love that.
That's how I fucking loved. See, they do those escape rooms. We need the rooms where they fucking come in and do shit like that.
Yeah.
Make you wake up.
Have you ever done an escape room, dude?
I haven't.
It's fucking lame. It's so lame. Yeah, we did it when we used to actually work in the office once or twice a year. We'd do these I don't know what you call it. They called them employee appreciation events. And it used to be we would just go to a restaurant and eat, which was cool. But then they tried to do this thing where you go somewhere and do an activity. And we did an escape room. And it was just this old shitty Salvation Army Goodwill furniture they would throw in there. And they just hide little envelopes and clues and shit. And you're sitting there trying to take all this junk apart to find little envelopes hidden and shit. It is so fucking... I mean, it'd be something cool if you were a 12-year-old. I'll put it that way. If you did it at summer camp when you're 12, but doing it as a fucking grown adult with other grown adults, fuck, it's lame.
Yeah. Oh, here's where fucking we find out her ultimate fucking what she's
weakness.
Afraid of.
Yeah. Because Ricky goes next door and he's trying to get Jane. He's like, if I have to leave tonight, will you go with me? He's like, I got $40,000 saved up. And the Mina Savari's like, you can't go with him. He's a freak. He's so gross, blah, blah, blah. And then Wes Bentley destroys her by saying, you're ugly. You're just ordinary. Nobody cares about you. You're so ordinary. She's like, no, I don't want to be ordinary. And instantly this fucking this high school Chad bimbo, her whole aura of self-confidence erodes because one person says she's ordinary.
Fucking it had to have been one of those things where it's he's right. He's fucking right. and I try to ignore it. But now she's primed to basically be fucking swept off her feet by fucking Came on Facey,
Yeah.
basically.
Now this is the whole kind of climax of the movie in a way, when Chris Cooper comes over and it's raining, pouring rain, and he comes over and he's soaking wet, and Kevin Spacey lets him in the garage, and he's like, "Oh, take your clothes off. You're soaking wet. I'll get you something to wear or whatever." And Cooper's just crying and crying, and like, this is like, again, like when I first saw this and I was a much younger person, I just bought into it, like, oh, this is the plot of the movie. But like, does this seem realistic to you at all? Like, I mean, I totally get if the guy was like turned on and a closet gay, like if he would be like, okay, this guy's gay too, and like I'll just go have sex with them. But like, shouldn't Chris Cooper like go over and be like, yeah, man, let's drink some beers, and then try to fucking put his hand down Kevin Spacey's pants? Like, what if you want to seduce somebody? Like, coming in soaking wet and crying is not the way to do it. I don't care if it's male, female, whatever.
I think right here he might be just like, fucking, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. I think like the sex thing might come out of nowhere for him, and he didn't even realize, like, fucking and that might even make him even madder. Like, this motherfucker, he's trying to bring me into his gayness.
Yeah, like I guess that's what they're going for. Almost like he's never confronted his feelings or whatever. But it's kind of just like, I don't know, if like these guys just would have sat down and had some beers, and like also too, like in a weird way, like maybe just because it's Kevin Spacey now and what we know about Kevin Spacey, but like I don't feel like Kevin Spacey would turn him down for sexual favors. I think Kevin Spacey would be like, well, I don't have any shot really with this high school Chad bimbo. I just must let the guy next door blow me or whatever.
Exactly. I'd have done the same thing.
Yeah. Could you imagine how Chad of an ending it was if Kevin Spacey lets him blow him, like in the garage with the garage door open, the whole neighborhood can see, and then like
he just pretends he's a pedophile. He just pretends it's her blowing him, and it's like, now you can be a pedophile in your mind, but like nobody's getting hurt, and that's the happy ending to the movie.
Well, like I was gonna say, no, the real happy ending is he lets the guy blow him. He cames, and then he goes inside and finds Mimi Suvari crying. He's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" She's like, "I want to have sex," and then he does. He actually has sex with her, and he cames twice. So like the movie has two happy endings.
What if he's like, "Oh, I just blew my nut. I can't." And then,
like that's like the frustration of the movie. He's like, I finally get my chance, and I just blew my nut with some fucking guy like I don't even care about. Like, because I don't even think this guy's hot, and I just fucking
exactly. What an ironic ending.
I think we'll have to not release this podcast because we have like the most fucking horrible like understanding and interpretation of an Academy Award winning movie ever.
Exactly. Everybody's gonna know we're fucking not Kino pills.
Yeah, like we've been putting up this aura of like, oh, we're all about Kino, and we're gonna help Kino make a comeback and defeat Marvel Cinematic Universe, but instead, we spent half of a American Beauty episode talking about our experiences wearing condoms and then urinating inside vaginas.
Exactly. It wasn't half. It was just that one scene. Yeah. It was that one scene where they were doing the sex.
Yeah. I mean, we were being responsible by talking about condom use.
Exactly. We had to put it in people's minds.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because you don't want to accidentally camed inside the vagina. When they can accidentally get pregnant. That's no fun.
You know what's weird is like when you're 19 years old, that was my worst fear in the world back then. And it's like now, the age I'm at now, I'm like, I wouldn't even care.
Yeah, I'm gonna be dead anyway.
I'm like, well, no, I'm
gonna be coming in every pussy ever when I'm like 65.
Well, I mean, when you're older and you just go to work every day, no matter what, and like the government's fucking you, and taxes and gas costs $6 a gallon. Like, what's throwing a fucking whatever out of wedlock child on top of it? Who cares?
Fuck it, I just won't take care of that one. Exactly.
I remember my boy was he was having sex with his neighbor. She would come over and he would crack her back and give her a massage, and he'd always have sex with her. And
what a king! What a king!
He was.
Sounds like a good fucking plan to me.
Well, it required zero effort on his part, and like I walked in one day, or no, I was there, and like she came and knocked on the door, like that's how casual it was, and like they didn't have sex in front of me, but I witnessed the whole back cracking thing. She always needed her back cracked.
I literally thought you were just saying that as like a euphemism, like she needed her back cracked. He would crack her back with his dick.
I mean, he would do that if I wasn't there, but I witnessed him do amateur chiropractic adjustment. And I remember being like talking about he did a came inside her. He told me, and I was like all worried for him. And he's like I forget how he said it, but he was just basically like he's like if I can't actually feel inside a woman, he's like there's no point. And I'm like yeah, I get that when you're older, like that's how you think when you're older. You're just like fuck it, who cares? Kids are kids.
Fuck them.
So finally, the real climax of the movie, his wish coming true. First, he had his nightmare come true, which, like, the thing that's funny, too, like, when Cooper was like, I kissed him, and he told me, oh, I got the wrong idea or whatever. Like he was perfectly fine, like Spacey was. Like, he wouldn't have told anybody about it, but I think that's Chris Cooper's big fear is that it's going to, like, everybody's going to find out what he did. Like, he kissed a man one time, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What do you think it is that basically gives him the satisfaction he wanted all along, and he doesn't have sex with her? He ends up doing the right thing, basically, and like fucking
for once, yeah. Well, the thing is he's actually totally is gonna fuck her. Like they make out, and he gets to the point where he's taking her panties off, and he's about to fuck her. And like the whole movie, she keeps talking all this big shit about how she fucks all these guys and all this shit. And by the way, she say Annette Bening speeding home. By the way, with a gun, like there's like a weird thing, like again, like I said, the red herrings. They make you think that like because she's been shooting all these guns at the ranges and she's holding this gun in her car, you think she's gonna walk in, find them fucking, and then blow his brains out. But yeah, what Spacey does here is like, because he thinks like, oh, this high school Chad bimbo, like she's just fucking everybody, and then she's like, she gets nervous or whatever. She's like, it's my first time. And he's like, what? And she's like, yeah. She's like, it's okay. I still want to do it. It's just my first time. And then that's when he's like, all of a sudden, he's like, he starts trying to put her clothes back on and shit. And like, I get his logic, his thinking.
He's basically, it's like, I don't want to fuck no chick that don't know how to fuck. I want a chick that knows how to fuck. Like, fucking the lack of experience is not attractive to me. We want to think it was like, oh, he realized what he was doing was wrong, but it was really just like, you ain't gonna fuck good. Yeah. Damn, get the fuck out of here.
Well, like that dialogue from the beginning of Reservoir Dogs when they're trying to figure out what Madonna's like, her version's at, and he's like, it's all about this Coos, who's a regular fuck machine. I'm talking about morning, day, night, dick. Exactly. And it's like, that's what he's thinking. That's what he thinks this chick is like onto. But then it's just like he realizes like, and I think it's just that moment, like honestly more than anything, when she's like, I'm a virgin basically, because like they even show like her nipples and everything. Like he's ready to dive into that. It's just really when she says that, I think it like snaps him out of it. Like he realizes that like, oh fuck, I'm about to fuck a child, you know. And in real life, if a guy went this far and Chris Hansen didn't bust in the room already, like, he just would be fucking anyway, you know what I mean? But
exactly, pretty much.
But no, I mean, you know,
we like to think that the fucking the weirdo with the beardo or whatever,
Lester the molester. I thought that was funny too, because like that was always like a joke when I was a kid. People would talk about Lester the molester, and I'm like, they literally named him Lester and made him a fucking Play-Doh in this movie. But then at the end, he's just like, no, I'm not a Play-Doh.
Exactly. He's like, I will work out and build muscle to fuck a child, but I won't actually fuck the child when they're ready to fuck. That's a little too far.
Again, like his whole downfall with always sneaking around with Ricky and buying the weed from him and his dad making things. Like if he just handled his weed buying better and was more sneaky about it, and Ricky's dad didn't think that and caused all that shit to happen, like really what would have happened at the end of American Beauty is like, he would have been like, oh, that was a close call. I almost fucked like a high school girl. Glad I didn't. But then he would be like, well, I'm already got this Chad body now. like he just would have like moved out, divorced Annette
He
Bening.
just goes and fucks other high school girls.
Well, no, not high school girls, but he just would be like, he just would go get an apartment and probably fuck like sleazy chicks he picked up, like not kids, you know what I mean?
One can hope. One can
Yeah,
hope.
like this movie, like it's kind of good in a way that he gets his brains blown out because like there was no saving his marriage with Annette Bening, and like once she comes home and sees his fucking brains splayed out, like then she runs into the bedroom in his closet and is like sniffing his clothes and shit. But she was never going to come back around because she was so on that power trip of being a powerful real estate lady and getting that Buddy Kane big dick. Like there's no way she would ever come back to loving Lester again.
Basically, the movie is saying that fucking if you're a terrible person, just make sure you die in a way that's gonna leave people sad.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what life's all about. Is just fucking be good enough to when you die, at least one person is fucking cries and feels bad.
Do you think when he got locked up in prison, they just put this fucking movie on the TV in a loop in Jeffrey Epstein's cell and gave him the extra bed sheets to hang himself?
Exactly. Hopefully.
Yeah. And he was just like when he was hanging himself up, he was just like, when I die, everybody's going to be so sad when I'm gone. And instead of all the young girls that I sex trafficked, they'll think about, the fact that they caused me to die.
Exactly. He that was their plan, but they didn't expect him to be like, I love fucking American Beauty. That's a classic Kino film. So he just watched it on the loop. And until they got so fucking tired, they had to send Agent 47 in there to kill him. And then, like, erase all evidence that he was ever there.
By the way, isn't it weird that like they had to go arrest Jeffrey Epstein's like girlfriend assistant, like just to punish her, just because he's like dead and they can't like put him in jail, like
Did they not have anything on her either?
I don't know. Like it's supposedly just basically her thing was she was an accomplice to all his crimes or whatever. But like it just was weird that like okay, he's sitting in jail, right, and they're going to prosecute him and probably give him like a life sentence or shit. They're not at that time, at least as far as I remember, like they weren't touching her, and then just like then he dies, and then they're like, well, somebody has to pay for this crime, and all of a sudden they want to like include her on it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying she wasn't guilty, she probably was, but it's like it's just weird that all of a sudden they're like, if we can't punish him, like we'll just get her.
Look at this. He dies looking at a picture of his family.
Yeah.
What if he was thinking like, man, I'm going to turn my life around. I'm going to be a great husband.
He's like, I'm going to use this new Chad body to please my wife and not high school girls.
Exactly. She deserves it. She's a big Stacy.
And I like how even when he gets his brains blown out, like they kind of keep it like secret for a second. Where like even like when it happens, you're not even sure who it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You assume it was his wife.
Yeah, because his wife was playing with the gun and on her way home and shit.
But you quickly realize that it was not. And then it was like, what?
Yeah. Well, first the kids come downstairs. Wes Bentley and Thora Birch come down and fucking see his dead body. And Wes Bentley gets fascinated and looks into his dead eyes and shit.
What if it was, we found out it was the guy who during the scene where he was hanging out with him for the first time, the kid, and they were smoking weed, and the guy came out and fucking said something to him, and he was like, basically they got in an altercation. He's like, what if that was the guy that came back and
he just snuck in his house and like, fuck you.
It would be one of those endings where we're like, who? We'd have to be reminded who that guy is.
Wouldn't it be funny though if it was like you got the DVD or whatever? Because the Blu-ray at least like doesn't have any fucking doesn't have any like special features or whatever. But like, wouldn't it be funny if like you got the DVD and it was like all the alternate endings? It was like all the different people. It was like his boss that he blackmailed came in and shot him.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
The face he makes at him when he's dead, it literally does look like he camed his pants.
Which by the way, because I mean I've said this to you, before we started recording, but yeah, his like he's remembering his happiest moments of his life and shit here. I know it sounds like we just memed all over this movie, and we basically did for 2 hours, but like when I rewatched this, and I always liked this movie, but when I rewatched it, it's just like, I guess it's just because we don't get much actual real like brand new Kino anymore. We just get fucking trash. Yeah, like I was just like blown away by how good this movie was. I'm just like, fuck, this is even better than I remembered it. You know what I mean? Like I love this movie. It's really fucking good.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
And it's one of those movies how they always say like in modern day, like they're like representation matters and the most important storytelling that like whatever is people you see on the screen that reflects yourself. Like
She doesn't even notice that. Like everybody else reacts to the gunshot. She's so fucking. She's just like.
she's like, oh. But no, but like I really don't like other than like just the being halfway through your life thing and realizing like you're not young and you're not old anymore. I mean, in general, like I don't really identify truly with anybody in this movie, but there's this like the daughter too is just kind of like upset just for the sake of being upset. But it's just like I don't know, like there's still something about it. Like even though I don't see myself in really any of these characters, and I don't even really like sympathize with their plight, it's like I still like it's still just a fucking Kino experience to watch it. Like I don't need to see people exactly like me and in my life circumstance in a movie to enjoy it, you know.
Yeah, fucking. I like that one. There's a couple of movies that it's like fucking. I don't identify with anybody. Like
Yeah.
I never really felt like I had to identify with anybody in order to like a movie. But like fucking, usually it helps if you do.
Yeah.
But like fucking sometimes, yeah, fucking, like you just get those ones where it's just like fucking, it works regardless, baby.
Yeah. Like his ending narration where he basically says there's so much beauty in the world. Like he kind of echoes what Ricky said earlier, but he says there's so much beauty in the world and sometimes my heart can't take it. It's like sometimes you do get those feelings in real life. Like if you ever just be like sitting in a room by yourself, like listening to music and like the right song comes on and like it triggers memories of your life. Like you remember things of your life, like maybe the first time you heard that song or you listened to it, like, you know, when something was happening, like, or it just reminds you of a period of time in your life. Like it does, like I think that's what's good about this movie is like, that is an actual real emotion of feeling like there's so much, what do you call it? Like expansive, like whatever wonder and mystery and beauty in the world that like you just feel a tiny part of it and like your life and like everything, like because every day like you go through doing really what this movie's about is you go through doing menial tasks, bullshit jobs, whatever, and you feel like nothing means anything, like even your family connections aren't as strong as they should be and all that shit. But it's just like there's certain times or certain moments in life when you get reminded about how big and grand and like kind of like almost, you know, incomprehensible like the whole fucking universe really is.
Mm-hmm. And we end with the Beatles song.
Yeah,
But it's a cover, I think, ain't it?
I think it is. Yeah, but I have two more like unrelated to the movie stories about this. So one of my boys back in the day, he had he was always going through like junk cars when I knew him. He'd always get these cars that were like basically worn out or whatever, right? And he had like a little small, like I don't know, whatever shitty car that broke down, and then his second one he had was like a old '80s minivan, and it was fucking awesome too. It was like, you know, the old mini. Well, I wouldn't even call it a minivan. It was really more kind of like a van. It was awesome, and it was like the kind where it had like the 3 rows of seating. So like it was awesome. Like we would load up like 9-10 people, both guys and girls, and like you would just go, like we'd go out to a bar or something. And, you know, you just like, it'd be cool because you could just roll deep in there and just like 9, 10, whatever your friends all go into a place all at once. And we did that one night and like we went like downtown and we parked in this parking lot and we walked across and went to these bars and shit and had a great time. And when we came back, my friend, because he was just kind of like whatever, he always left that shit unlocked because it was like just such an old junky van. And it wasn't like it was like full of junk and shit, but just like, you know, keep some shit in your car and don't think about it. Like we came back and like we slid the side door open and like we just saw all this paper and trash everywhere, like whatever was in his car like was like kind of under the seats had been pulled out, and like but you could just tell it was like ransacked, you know what I mean? And like he didn't really have anything valuable, like it wasn't like they stole the radio or anything, just some bum probably came through and like whatever they could see in the car or whatever. And like we were like, well, did anything get stolen? I think maybe some CDs stolen, but like the main thing that got stolen was his fucking his like collector's edition DVD of American Beauty.
Fuck.
Like somebody actually fucking took like you ransack a van for drug money, whatever. You find a DVD of American Beauty and you walk off. I wonder if that actual copy of that DVD is somewhere like out in the world. Like it probably got it in a pawn shop or something. And it's probably somebody bought it. But
that motherfucker wanted that Kino. He didn't give that away.
You
like,
think he's still watching
I
it?
haven't seen this.
Could you? Okay, could you imagine? If, like, because you know how we're like, okay, everybody sync up your DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever, and listen along with this. Could you imagine if some motherfucker is listening to this and he cues that shit up? Like the guy who stole the DVD still has it, and he cues it up. Actually, he's a listener of our show, and then he reaches the end during the credits, and where I explain that, and he thinks that was probably me. So yeah, it was in case that guy is listening. I remember it was an old shitty white van. This happened in Cincinnati, Ohio. So. If you stole that fucking American Beauty DVD, then yeah.
Good job, basically.
Yeah.
Fucking, you had the last laugh.
Yeah. And so, the other story is actually more kind of consequential. Still unrelated, but still kind of. But my girl, if anybody listens to the podcast, my girl Boo, she was actually I think they call him like a valet at the Oscars the year that American Beauty swept the Oscars and shit.
Really cool.
And just like helping people get in and out of their car because like the gowns and all that shit, and like she had a little outfit on and getting doors and shit. And it was like the end of the night at like the theater thing, and pretty much like most of the people were left, but Sam Mendes, who won Best Director or whatever. He was there and like he was talking to a lot of people, and he had a lady with him who was like his assistant, and she was holding the Oscar, and like I guess because it was like fucking heavy or whatever, and my girl and was standing there with like another, I think one of the girls who was doing the valet stuff, and she was like talking to them or whatever while he was talking to somebody else, and she said to my girl like, do you want to like hold it for a second? And she handed it to her, so my girl got to hold Sam Mendes' American Beauty Oscar for a few seconds. And she was talking about how heavy it was, and she was looking at it and stuff. So
I would have snatched and ran.
Yeah, I think I would have too. In all honesty,
fucking sell that shit. You won't ever have to worry. You won't ever have to work at a valet again.
I wouldn't even sell it though. Could you imagine fucking if you had like your DVD shelf? And you could have like American Beauty, like little, like put the Blu-ray, like I got the Steelbook, put the Steelbook there, and like a little like newspaper cutout clipping of the thing or whatever. The
you gotta
Oscar
put the
win.
little, you gotta also put the little newspaper article about the lady that works at the valet that stole it from.
Yeah.
It was never seen from again.
Yeah, and then fucking then have the Oscar right there.
Oh yeah.
That would be better than even like whatever you could sell it for, whatever it is, 25, 50 grand. Like that, having that on your shelf would be fucking better than.
That's a fucking collection. Like nobody's collection will rival that, and we just made it up.
Yeah, like could you imagine if we made a movie about that? Like you could actually make a movie about that and like the amazing story of like the fucking thing. It'd be a lot better than fucking CGI DH Harrison Ford coming back one last time for Indiana Jones.
Did they DH him for the movie?
Yeah, and like they're bragging about it. They're like, the first scene starts out with a flashback and he's young again. And they're like, we used his face from old outtakes from the original Indiana Jones movies. It's like, who fucking congratulations, you're like the 28th movie to do this bullshit. Like, who fucking cares? They're like, but you don't understand, like, you can see Harrison Ford young again. It's like, yeah, I know, I got like fucking 20 of his movies on my Blu-ray collection. I can watch him young anytime I need to. I don't need to watch your fucking stupid Disney shit.
Exactly.
Fucking that I think that's the most low-T cinematic movie you can do now, is to see your favorite actor young again. It's like, no, we could always do it. Always. Before computers were even invented, you could see fucking Harrison Ford young in a movie. You just had to watch one of his movies when he's young. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. I mean, I don't know even how listenable this episode could be. This is either the most listenable episode of our podcast or the least listenable. But I think
it was a fucking, we nailed it out of the park.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it either way, because the truth is there's so much Kino in the world. I don't know if my heart can take it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Is there anything? Is there? Sorry, go ahead.
We were essentially that bag floating, fucking
Yeah,
just
we were.
complete chaos. We didn't write down what we wanted to say. We just fucking we were living in the moment, baby.
We were. But no, yeah, it's a great movie, and anybody who thinks, "Oh, it's just some bullshit Oscar," but like I said, like it depends on the mindset. Like if you're like an art house like movie fan, you probably would watch it, view it somewhere. But if you were just like,
I pity the fool who thinks of this as like just like art house. Like, oh fuck, bullshit. I'd never watch that. Like fucking, I pity that fool.
yeah, it's like no, you could really watch it with the double feature of American Pie, I think, and watch it in that mindset as well.
It really is kind of the same story told from two different perspectives. One,
Yeah.
a kid in high school, and one, a fucking middle-aged guy who wants to bang a high school girl. They both want to bang high school.
I think the American Pie tagline, because it's American Pie. I think the tagline was "You never forget your first piece," and then for this one, they could just change it slightly to "You never forget your last piece."
They could have. You know what? Too, I noticed like fucking that scene where he's driving around listening to American Woman, American Woman. I was like, I wonder if like the original title for the movie was American Woman, since it's so similar to American Beauty already.
I meant to bring this up to you and not to just extend it and bullshit out longer, but I mean we are guilty of that always. I was looking at my shelf the other day, like rearranging, like making whatever, and like I can't believe like how many fucking movies I have that are called American something. Like it's the most fucking lazy way to frame a movie. I mean, I don't have it, but there's American Pie. I have American Beauty. I have American Assassin. I have
American Movie.
What's that?
American Movie.
Oh yeah, there's American Movie. I don't know. American Movie kind of makes sense for that movie. But I have like American Psycho, of course. I have a bunch of them. American something.
American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, I have American Werewolf. I watched one on cable the other night with fucking Adrian Brody called American Heist. Like, there's American Sniper. Like, I don't know. Like to me, that just seems like the laziest fucking way to label a movie. Like American Beauty, like I guess this one's not so bad because it's kind of like I guess the country it's set in. You're kind of satirizing. Fuck, I can't even talk. Satirizing the like American suburbs, like whatever. Like I kind of get that because this kind of does fall in that category of indie movies from the late '90s, the early kind of mid 2000s, where it was like something's wrong in suburbia type storyline.
Yeah.
There is a lot of movies, like I would say all the way to like 2009, 2010, where it's just like troubled families and suburbs and shit.
We couldn't get enough of that shit. I blame Columbine.
Probably.
Exactly.
Do you ever see that fake Columbine movie, Elephant, or whatever it's called, that Gus Van Sant made?
I did.
Yeah. Like where they just show everybody walking around in the hallways for like 2 hours before the shooting happens.
Yeah, and then the shooting happens as it ends.
Yeah, it's just like kind of
the whole reason we watched. You fucking cocktease.
Yeah,
I want to see kids getting killed.
At least our boy Ben Shapiro, he released the real version of it. What was it? Run, hide, fight. Yeah,
Run, hide, fight.
I still haven't seen that because I don't think they ever put it on Blu-ray or anything.
Fucking imagine the fucking world would break if they put such Kino on Blu-ray. My God, if they would sell like hotcakes.
If they stop hiding it behind a streaming paywall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for American Beauty. Unless you had anything else you wanted to say about the movie, Zach.
Fucking at least a 9 out of 10.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean. Like I said, like I question some of the authenticity of the Chris Cooper. I guess I don't know if you call it homophobia, closet gayness, or like it just seems like some of it. Like it's really only one scene, but other than that, I mean, I'd give it 10 out of 10. Honestly, I mean, there's not many movies on this level or even better than it.
It's good shit.
Yeah, I give it an A for effort because it's got some good shit. And then really, it's like you get like a bonus point for just like getting to see fucking weird ass Kevin Spacey try to play such a heterosexual Chad that just wants to tear up all the hot poontang in his town.
Exactly, so unbelievable.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's it. I want to thank you, Zach, for bringing this Kino gem. to the
Oh
graveyard.
yes. Always, anytime. Fucking, I'll bring it again tomorrow.
Booyah.
You will, baby.
Tomorrow you'll be live streaming though, won't you?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, probably.
Fridays are usually when I get the Twitch notification. The Revival House is live, baby.
Oh yeah. Forgot it was already Friday.
Yep.
Life is just going by so fucking fast. You blink and you'll miss it. I should fucking. I need to go fuck a high school chick to fucking remember how alive I am.
Yeah, you need to do that so you can remember how alive you feel behind bars.
Exactly.
Because if all those hot 24-year-old high school female teachers can't get away with it, we surely can't. So,
Exactly.
isn't that a weird phenomenon? How come nobody makes a movie about that?
Oh no, that's a perfect idea for me.
Yeah. What would you call an American school teacher?
You might as well.
Yeah.
It's the perfect title. American came.
American came. America was built on came.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I was gonna mention when we were talking about Nazis. I was gonna mention that fucking whenever we went on communism, like the bad fucking state ran Nazi type characters for us are gonna be called the Nutsies.
The Nutsies, yeah.
Nutsies.
Kevin Smith already did the Bratzies. We'll do the Nutsies.
Because it's like came nuts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nut came. I think Tina Turner was onto something when she made that song Nutbush.
Fucking hell yeah. I do too.
All right. And with that, we'll see you back here next time in the movie graveyard.